So, I was literally last night looking for names and shit. I went on ChatGPT.
You're sick ass. This was asked AI.
Our ideas were terrible. It was so bad. It was like
This one puts one brown guy and one white guy
I said, like,
talking about sports.
give me podcast names based off of like Eli and Luis, like incorporating sports, incorporating soccer, all these different things.
Bro, I can imagine that shit was ready to come out corn dog.
They were so basic, and then they were all like taken too. Like if there was one that was decent, I would Google it, and it
that
was
shit
already a
taken,
thing.
yeah.
I was like, bro, this is gonna be fucking impossible.
Did you find anything? Nothing. So we still the nameless podcast still, bro?
I'm thinking
Just introduce it as
just the
episode 1.
Eli and Luis show.
Just for right now.
Why not?
Fuck it.
The Eli and Luis show.
We can keep it like that for right now.
Fuck it. I like that. That's crazy.
I'm just saying, cause like going future wise, like we should have like something that like kind of speaks like on the podcast, like the type of podcast we do. You feel like what I'm saying?
I don't feel like the name really matters that much.
I feel like it does, dog. Because people are like honest.
They're gonna see it, bro. They're gonna see it one way or the other. They're gonna like it or they're not. I feel like very rarely is someone scrolling and they're like, "Oh yeah, the name of this looks fire. I'm gonna click it." They probably saw a clip or their homie told them about it or something.
I mean,
It's the Eli and Luis show. Fuck it, man. Fuck it.
crazy.
God damn, bro. So, as you might be able to tell, we don't really have much of this shit planned out, but this is episode 1 of the fucking podcast.
So we're just starting like that. Okay. Hey man, it's 4th of July.
I was like, bro, let's just name it on the show. Why not? That's the whole point. It's just supposed to be casual.
Let's see how far we get, man.
To episode 1 at least. I mean,
Let's
shit,
try to get
that's
to
a
the end of
start.
it. Yeah,
That's
man.
a start for real. If we make it to the end, that's a W. That's a W, bro. But there's only one place to start because this just happened, and that was El Trafico, bro. Because obviously, so that's one thing I wanted to off the rip. I pulled up with my U.S. men's national team kit and my LA Galaxy hat because I wanted to show the people that even when you lose, it's important to represent your shit. You know what I mean? And like win and loss, I'ma still always ride with my team. So you know what I mean? And so I just want to show the support and let.
Even though it was an embarrassing loss.
Because I know Pulisic is finna watch this, and so I wanted to let him know that, like, doggy, I support you still, bro. Like, I understand shit's tough right now. Man. Bro, honestly, bro, that shit's... So, the Galaxy game, we'll start there, because that literally just ended. We're recording this kind of late at night on the 4th, and so it ended, what, like an hour and a half ago or something like that?
Yeah, like 45 minutes ago.
It was a rough one, man. It was a rough one.
I only watched the first half. I'm gonna keep it 100% honest, because you know.
You saw the worst half. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That's
you
what
saw
I'm saying.
The worst half.
That's all I needed to see, honestly.
The first half was rough, bro.
Especially at the end, man. But let's.
I mean, the thing that I feel like we definitely struggled with, like in the first half especially, we had no flow with the attacking play. Like it really felt like Puig was just running at defenders with no real options around them. You know, Payne Still and Peck weren't really getting involved. I feel like we're at our best when you've got those guys coming inside and Jovic dropping in and linking up. And we definitely saw more of that. That's what I was going to say is in the second half, it definitely came on a lot better. I think that overall we were creating a lot more chances. We looked a lot more dangerous, and we had more possession with intent. But that first half, bro, that we looked like we just had the whole occasion got to us, which is crazy because this is not a new fixture. LAFC has been around for a long time now. We've been doing these like Rose Bowl fixtures for a long time now. Like this whole 4th of July thing isn't new. It's always a huge game.
That's the only thing I gotta give to LAFC. They played really good today, man. They played really
They came out intense for sure. They came out a lot more professional.
During the defense, man, they were locking it down. As you saw, Puig was just running. He clearly had no one. Passes were getting intercepted left and right, man.
100%. And, you know, as much as it hurts me to say, I think we got to point out the fact that Bouanga for LAFC is like
one of their best players and has been one of their best players for like the past like 2 seasons.
I would say one of the best players in the MLS this season easily. Like he's one of those guys that, you know, in the MLS there's a handful of players that kind of stand out and catch your eye instantly when you're watching a game.
I don't want to
one of those guys.
Mess up his name, but their right winger, he's been doing pretty good this season too.
Boguj or whatever it is.
Yeah,
they've
completely mess up his name.
They've done a really good job, you know, not having Vela in there, who was kind of that talisman for a long time in the team. I think that they've taken a step forward, and Credit where credit's due. They've been a very well run, very organized club since their inception, which is unfortunate for us to say as Galaxy fans. But today just wasn't our day. I don't think it was like
It,
a nightmare performance.
I mean, from like our perspective as fans, we should see it as that because this is a big win for LAFC, dog. Because
That
like
is, yeah,
without
hundred
Vela,
percent.
they're like moving forward of that era where like they were like rating like champions or
A
whatever.
hundred percent, 100%. No, you
So
gotta give
like
them credit,
this
and
is definitely
obviously
one
that
of the
puts them ahead in the Western
yeah.
Conference and gives them that edge at the moment. There's still a lot of soccer left to be
I know
played in
there's
the
like trying to
season.
keep it positive, but now this was a pretty big loss for us,
That's
man.
true. No, and I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to be like overly optimistic just for the sake of trying to be all fucking happy and shit. Like it's a negative
This
result.
could have been an easy turning point for either of our season, man. So like, who
Yeah,
knows what this is gonna turn out to be? But like,
yeah.
hopefully not. But
No, 100%, 100%. I will say I think we've been missing Brugman in midfield. I'm not sure how many matches it is that he's been out injured for, but
I'll be keeping
he's been
track
a
of that.
very helpful player for us in that
Oh yeah.
midfield area. Him and Delgado, I feel like have given Puig that freedom to
I
really
mean,
go up and
basically just
create
be
and
like an
stuff like
attacking
that. And
mid, yeah.
and it's no disrespect to Cerrillo. I'm pretty sure he's a fairly young player, only 23 years old. So like I'm sure he's still figuring his stuff out, but at the same time, at this point where for the first time in a very, very long time, this Galaxy team is actually competitive. These big, high profile matches, you want to see us
Week
showing a
week
bit
out,
more, you want to see us showing a bit more. So that was a pretty unfortunate result.
especially after last season. I'm just saying, man. LA Galaxy last season, and like we've been doing very good this past season, man. And it's like
Compared to last season,
and
yeah, we're taking a massive
we're starting
step
to slow
forward.
down right now, bro. Like honestly, even the past like maybe 3 games, I would say we have not been
I,
playing
I
as.
mean, I think we've done well without Puig in the team. I could pull up our recent run of form. Yeah, I mean, we've been winning some
Mm,
games recently, so I think we've done well without Puig in the team. And overall, like I think, like we've been saying, like this has definitely been a massive step forward
yeah.
this season.
Well,
And
definitely being third place are we right now because of that loss.
yeah, and so I mean, it'll just have to be hopefully a learning moment because we got a lot of younger players in the squad. I think that was one thing that we definitely saw today too. That's probably the last major point that I wanted to call out was that like players like Julian Auld and Jalen Neal who are like younger players in this team, especially playing into the back line where those mistakes are going to be a lot more costly than if you're like a young forward trying to take on a player one on one or something. If you lose possession in the final third, it's not that big of a deal. Your
I feel
team has
it.
time to adjust, but these younger players in the back line, they're under a lot of pressure to perform every single week in and week out. And overall, by and large, I think they've both had really good seasons. But tonight was definitely a day where they kind of showed some of that youthful
I feel it.
inexperience in a bigger game. You know what I mean? I don't know if you have any final thoughts on it.
Honestly, not really, man. Like I said, my final thoughts were really just it was even though yes, try to keep it positive, try to keep moving forward from this, but it was a tough loss, man.
It,
What can I
it's,
say?
it, it certainly was. And you know what?
It meant a lot. It could have meant a lot for both clubs, but it meant a lot for LAFC tonight, man.
100%. 100%. And it wasn't the only tough loss that we had to experience this week. The next talking point, we're going from up here to down here now. I mean, it's a huge talking point in United States soccer because this was supposed to be,
The golden generation, the one of those teams.
well, not just that, but I'm speaking more so to just this tournament specifically, that this was supposed to be a kind of coming out party for this golden generation, like you're saying, because it was the home tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, the more recent kind of victories we've been having in some of these CONCACAF tournaments and stuff like that have been these building blocks to what was supposed to be this big moment for our players that are, playing in the top leagues and the top teams around the world to kind of show out and wake the world up and say, hey, like we're not a team to be messed with. American soccer is legit. And I don't think that happened. I don't think that happened, unfortunately. And that's probably the most like gut wrenching, heartbreaking part of this whole journey we've been on in kind of the Greg Berhalter era. And I hate that that's the first name that gets brought up in the conversation because I think he's kind of gotten scapegoated in a lot of ways.
I
Like
can't
let
really
me say
say fully
this. Let me say
scapegoated, man.
this.
I don't know
Let me
about
say
all
this.
that.
He didn't tell Wyatt to punch someone in the head. No, I'm serious. Like there are serious
uh,
errors of judgment that are being made out there that don't really have much to do, in my opinion, with the manager.
no.
And he's gonna take the brunt of the criticism for that, and some of that is justified. I think a lot of the substitutions throughout the tournament I wasn't a big fan of. I don't think, especially in this last match, if I remember correctly, Yunus Musa was brought off at some point. Yeah, in the
Mm-hmm.
72nd minute, and I understand in theory, we're chasing the game. Let's just throw on as much attackers as we can, but like he's such a pivotal link from defense to attack, and losing that, like the last 20 minutes of the game, we were just hitting long balls forward to players who, let's be real, we don't have a lot of physical players up here,
And
and they were getting chewed up by Araujo. It was ridiculous.
honestly, it wasn't even Balloon. I think that's how you say
Balogun,
it. Balogun. He wasn't even playing most of the game. He would instantly get subbed off for Pepe, which is like the thing too. Is like
which hurt us because, in my opinion, he's definitely like the most talented of that group of strikers that
yeah.
we have in the
Mm-hmm.
pool. So it definitely hurt that he wasn't as consistently available. Obviously, the way a situation was like just so fucking frustrating, man. So fucking frustrating. Like it's such a must-win game because you knew that that next match against
Mm-hmm.
Uruguay was gonna be like fucking brutal, and so you needed to get, in my opinion, 6 points, at least four. But realistically, we should have been shooting for 6 points in those first two matches, and we got off to such a hot start against Bolivia. It was looking good, and the way the group was set up was so perfect because we
Mm-hmm.
got the easiest match first,
First, and
the
then play the
next
harder
match, yeah,
matches.
and
Yeah.
then the toughest match last. Like it was, we were able to kind of play into the form, which worked in our favor, and it just
Completely went the opposite
it,
way.
it, it
Honestly.
totally went to shit 20 minutes into that second match. Like that's realistically, and that was my main takeaway coming away from that Uruguay match was like, there's enough you could say about this game, but in my opinion, it really goes back to Panama. Like you don't lose to Panama and expect to go through in the group. Like that's just not gonna happen in a group that's set up the way it was. It's just not gonna
And
happen.
honestly, like, and it's hard to believe, man, that we lost to Panama really with the team that we have. I know Panama was a pretty strong team growing into it,
They played all right.
but it was definitely not the quality to beat this team that we see here.
And I think if it was 11v11 with what we saw playing a man down for a majority of the
It was
game,
the whole game. Like it was like
we would have
87th
won, in
minute
my
until
opinion,
something.
if it was 11v11. But the problem is it wasn't. And we've got, it's kind of almost goes back to what I was saying about some of our players at the Galaxy right now, where it's like inexperience is gonna cost you. And at this point, as much as we feel like we have this golden generation, where pretty much all of those players are in their mid or early 20s still, and a lot of them have had their careers kind of stagnate in their European game to where they're not getting a whole lot of big match experience in Europe. They're
But
playing at the top level, they're playing at big clubs,
I feel
but they're not playing in like big games. You see what I'm saying?
I
So they're
feel
not
what
used to that pressure.
I feel what you're saying, but it's like I feel like that's the case for a lot of the Copa America teams in this tournament. For this tournament, honestly,
I guess the difference, in my opinion, is the pressure. Like a lot of these other teams come into it where their fans are celebrating every tackle, their fans are into every moment
okay,
because
yeah,
they know, like, we're Panama, we're like Ecuador was a great example of this. Like we know we're an underdog, and so we're celebrating every moment differently, and like we come into these matches with different expectations, and they really rally behind their teams. Whereas the American fans kind of sit back and wait to be entertained, and in my opinion, expect to be like a most
So what
I
are you
don't
trying?
know,
So what
but
are you trying to say with that? That you took it to the fans. So like, what are you trying to say about that? We just
my okay,
expect
my
it
point is that I don't know how many
because that's
US
kind of
men's
crazy.
national
I
team
never heard you talk
fans
about this.
look at a team like Bolivia and Panama and think that there's any fucking chance in hell that they're gonna even come close to beating us.
Okay,
I think they think we're supposed to mop the
before
floor,
okay,
and they don't understand like the technical level of just overall football has risen over the years. Is everyone plays in an academy since they're 5 years old, and everyone knows how to, like, everyone's pretty good with the ball at their feet these days. Everyone's an athlete. You don't have guys
yeah,
out here
mm-hmm.
smoking cigarettes, downing beers before the games. Like, so you've got like they're not necessarily the same technical level as the US team, but they're all athletes. They all play at a fairly high level and they all played together versus the men's national team, which, let's be frank, I think there's a bit of egos at times. I think there's a
Yeah.
bit of wanting to be the hero from some of the players. And
For a
so
lot of the players,
I think
a
that
lot
we
of
get in
personalities. Yeah.
we get into a situation where, we're expected to dominate, and when we don't instantly do that, the kind of vibes get killed in the
So, do
stadiums
you
and the
think the pressure gets to the United States team? Do you think that's one of the big strong points of why they perform that?
I think partially, yeah. I think every
Because it
player.
seems like you're saying about the fans talking
Well,
about.
we have the lineup pulled up here. Every one of these players in the midfield and attack that started that game against Uruguay is playing at a top level. I could pull it up right here. They're playing at a top level league in a top level
Juve,
club in
yeah.
Europe somewhere right now. I think that there is an expectation that just because these clubs are what they are, that we're just going to dominate. And that's not the case. That's not the case.
You know who was disappointed looking at this lineup? Reina in this tournament. He did not
Yeah.
do that much
A
shit, to
hundred
be
percent.
honest, bro. He
A
did
hundred
not do that
percent.
much shit, man.
I think that he's one of those guys that I feel like he's a kind of confidence player.
Yeah.
It feels like for me that once he feels like he has it going, he gets it going, which is really common with younger players, especially, which he's still super young. And so I think it's one of those things that because things didn't get rolling for him early in the tournament, he continued to try and force it, and it never really came to. And I think that's a consistent problem that the team was having. That, like, the only player that really started off hot was Pulisic. Everyone else was kind of trying to get going, and so I feel like there was just a little bit of that. By the time we got to the Uruguay game, we didn't have anyone in great form. We didn't have a team that had good positive momentum going. We had a team that felt like we were fighting from, like, behind the eight ball from the second that this Uruguay match kicked off. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things where, and tournament football is also such a unique beast where, like, the vibes really matter so much more, like the form and just the way that the team is feeling about each other at the time. And I think the way that a manager can bring a team together matters so much more in international tournaments opposed to the club game.
I understand that, but I don't know. You say all the chemistry, but I feel like they played very disappointing, man. Because I'm sorry, to be dependent on who was it, Bolivia, to draw with who was it? I forgot. What was it?
In the last game, Panama,
Yeah,
that we were hoping for, yeah.
that's like a very sad case to be for the team that we are to be able to be
A
like,
hundred
come on,
percent.
man. Like how
Nah,
you
a
said,
hundred
like
percent. I
so much.
forget who it is, but one of the hosts on, like, the post game show brought that up, that, like, yeah, we were reduced to rooting for Bolivia, which is, like, pretty embarrassing.
And that sounds like one of the like something like a lower
Yeah.
ranked nation should be
Yeah,
doing,
yeah, yeah.
not the United States, and definitely
A hundred
in the
percent.
group that we had.
A 100%. No, it look, it was a disappointment. It was a disappointment. There's nothing else to say about it. Like, it was a disappointment. I think all these players have to go and look themselves in the mirror and kind of realize that, like, it just wasn't good enough.
But it's just like crazy to say. I don't know who had it worse for this tournament. I mean, for the Copa Cup teams, either Mexico or the United States, man, because they both. I don't know. Mexico already came kind of down into the tournament and everything.
That's what I was gonna say. It
They weren't
depends
really
how you look
expecting a
at it.
lot.
If it's like the expectations that kill you, then the U.S. had it worse. Because I think we had higher hopes, especially after the Bolivia game. Like, we were kind of on cloud nine, and then instantly tumbled down to fucking the deepest depths of hell. Like, as soon as the Panama game was going, versus the Mexico team, like you said, like, even coming into the tournament, there wasn't a whole lot of optimism, and so I think maybe their disappointment wasn't as painful.
So like, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like I agree with what you're saying 100%, but it's like Mexico has a lot of things to blame for. It's the management. They're already blaming that one.
Well, U.S. is saying that too.
Okay, but hold up. There's a lot of players. A lot of players people are not agreeing with. Like I was gonna bring it up. Santi Jimenez. A lot of fans say it should have been Henry Martin.
Mm-hmm.
a more honestly decorated player for like a higher level. Because yes, Santi Jimenez plays in the Netherlands, but it's not very that high level competition. I don't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's crazy to say because I know Henry Martin plays in the Mexican league, but you've seen what the Mexican league has produced and what it's still producing.
And I think we saw in Copa America the value of like experience and like having players that understand how to just win a match. You know what I mean? Versus like having just raw talent, which Santi Jimenez is undoubtedly a talented player, but having someone with a little bit more experience on like, you know, fucking with referees and, you know, winning fouls or like how do I work an extra yard to get a shot off in something where it's a little tight in the
Yeah,
box. Like I think that's what we've seen players like Ener Valencia and Salomon Rondon do really well at this tournament. Like those are two super old strikers that like we
but they have their
remember from
stripes,
being
man.
in the
Yeah,
Premier League in like
more high
2015,
school, fucking middle
2016. Yeah,
school.
it's been a
Yeah, I
long
know,
ass
man.
time ago, but they're still out there, still performing, and honestly looking better than a lot of the more higher profile players at these tournaments because they know how to play football in these kind of sloppy, more just messy games. You know what I like? Like I'm saying, like international football is such a completely different vibe, and like having that experience and know how of just like winning football matches to me is super important at this level. And like you look at this team, it's a lot of kids, bro. Tim Ream and Matt Turner are probably two of the oldest players in the side. I could pull it up right here. Yeah, look at this, bro. Everyone is literally younger than like 25, 26 at best. You know what I mean? Like we've got a really young team out there.
Still young, yeah,
And
but
so I feel like that's like we just didn't have that experience and it definitely showed.
so what are we saying? Since we're let's just get back to the topic of the United States for so we can segue I guess into more Copa America, more like talking about the other teams. So what are we saying that we need to be in what 2 years right now for the 20? No,
I mean, yeah, it's see that's the problem is like you're like hoping for a lot of development in the next couple years, which it's like, well, I
but
don't know,
like
man.
but you say you don't know, but so okay, so why are you complaining if you don't know what needs to be changed? What needs to be changed so we can start getting there? So hopefully this lineup we see if they still
I
perform at a
would
top
like to
level,
see our
no injuries
players
or
going to
anything.
clubs where they're gonna play more consistent minutes and start more
Yeah,
consistently. I think that was a huge problem for Pulisic's career where he was like on a great upward trend at Dortmund and then that Chelsea move because it was so like on and off with
yeah.
his playtime there, like that totally stunted his
Tank his career.
development in my
Yeah,
opinion. We've got a lot of younger players in this team. Like I'm looking at a guy like Gio Reyna who's literally at that same club Pulisic was at, and I'm wondering like his next move is gonna be so critical, and I would love for him to just stay at Dortmund for now because they seem to have it
that's
really
hard to
figured out
do.
with their system and stuff. But exactly, like Dortmund are really quick to let that sale go. That's kind of how their club operates.
Just flip.
So we'll see. I mean, honestly, this kind of I'll be real. This kind of killed some of my hope for the World Cup. This kind like there
Wow.
was before the Copa, there was part of me that felt like maybe there's a chance we could pull off some sort of I don't know what the fuck is going on. That's crazy. Helicopter and
Looking
shit.
for the fireworks, looking for the
I
bullets.
guess so. Yeah, I guess so. I was hoping that maybe we could have some sort of Morocco type of run. Not saying all the way to the semifinals necessarily, but just a later tournament run and kind of have a couple upsets along the way that people didn't expect. And now I'm looking at this team thinking that like that doesn't feel as likely, you
Yeah,
know? Unfortunately, like it feels like maybe we're not as good as we thought we were. Like that might be the real answer is like maybe we're just not quite there yet. This isn't maybe the golden generation.
that's
Like
crazy.
and it not
I like
like
that. I understand where you're coming from,
I
but
think
that is
that term
crazy.
gets thrown out so quickly and loosely. Like, bro, we were saying that shit about Belgium for like 10 years. They didn't ever do
But man, that's
shit.
crazy. That's crazy to
They
compare,
did
bro. We got
fucking nothing.
Hazard, we got fucking
All right,
Lukaku, Lakaka now, bro.
I understand.
Tielemans, Courtois,
I get
Vertonghen.
I get why the term got thrown out, but to me, you gotta actually be able to put something on it. Like that France, like mid 2010s, late 2010s, that's a golden generation from like
Okay.
2016 to like 2020 ish.
Yeah,
That's a golden generation. Spain from like 2008 to
2000.
2012. That's
Yeah,
probably the goldenest generation. That's one of
from
the most
Spain.
successful
Yeah,
national teams ever. And I feel like you have to have that success behind it. I go always to like mid 2000s, early 2000s Brazil as another
Yeah.
example of like they've got the success to back it up. And if you don't have the success, that's what matters at international tournaments. That's why you see so many teams playing park the bus counterattacking football, because you don't gotta play pretty shit to win international tournaments. You don't have to play fantastic football to be Greece in, what was it, like 2006 when they won the Euros.
Yeah.
Like, these things happen, and it a lot of times is just from being a united defensive team that gets some luck along the way. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like that's kind of where we're at now.
That's crazy.
Is like we gotta just kind of hope
That's a
to
crazy
play like a
comparison,
really
man.
really good united
2006
game and
Greece.
shit, bro. See, that makes it feel disrespectful,
That's
right?
crazy,
That's
bro.
crazy.
I'm just saying, man.
That's why I said more like Morocco, because like they still have players like Hakimi and Nesri and stuff who are like top level
Players,
European
ballers,
players, yeah,
yeah.
that are kind of mixed in with some of those guys that maybe aren't quite as well known and
Mid
stuff
tier,
like
yeah.
that. Which we definitely like. There are players like that in this team. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think a whole lot of players know about, or a whole lot of fans know about players like Joe Scally and
Yeah,
Tim
no,
Ream and stuff like
definitely
that.
not.
Like, so that's kind of where I think we're at. Is like, hopefully we take some steps forward in our development. And honestly, I'm really fascinated to see what happens with this coaching position, because I think it's kind of a foregone conclusion that Berhalter is going to get sacked, in my opinion.
And it needs to happen, bro.
And I agree. I think it's just, and it's not even on some like he's the worst manager ever, because there's some questionable decisions here and there. I'm not gonna lie about that,
Questionable with some
but no,
dumbass
no, no. But
decisions,
it's like,
man.
bro,
No.
we've had enough time. You know what I mean? Like, he's had more than enough
That's what
time,
I'm saying.
and
It's
so
it's
like,
at a point that it's mistakes, but sometimes it's a dumbass decision, man.
nah, he needs to go. He needs to go. It's over for sure. But we've been on this shit for a minute. Let's just get to our overall kind of. Actually, you know what?
You're crazy.
let's get let's let's get to our Copa America experience, because that's something that I don't think most people got to experience this turn. Because let's
Yeah.
so we went to the first Brazil game of their group stages up against Costa Rica at SoFi Stadium in LA, and
Want my refund?
yeah, that shit was tough, man. Like, so the reason why I wanted to bring up our experience is because, like, for us as American fans, we don't get to see these types of big games often. So I guess giving just our kind of thoughts on what it was like going to a game like that,
Yeah.
and then kind of segueing into just the Copa America in general. But I mean, I feel like you haven't been to as many sports events as I
No,
have
yeah,
overall,
definitely.
and so just like as someone who doesn't go to like that much live sports, what was your takeaway?
It honestly was like, I'll take it to a personal level. It was like a motivating type of thing. I was like, that is crazy, man. Just literally, even like the seats that we had, which were honestly crazy seats for the price that we got.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like a motivating ass thing to like sit there with the crowd, feel the energy of the game, just like everything. It's different from watching it from the TV to watching it straight. Like literally, you're just looking down and seeing the players. You're seeing your favorite players from your favorite teams that you literally watch growing up on TV and everything. So honestly, bro, that shit is honestly like it's a crazy experience, and it's like a very motivating, and it's like it's an eye-opening experience for like someone who doesn't really go to like those type of like events and everything.
So even despite the fact that like the result didn't necessarily go our way, in the sense that it was a fucking boring ass game, you still felt like it was an overall like good experience.
It was overall an amazing experience, bro. Because it's international football, man, and
Yeah.
especially an important tournament like this. When does it happen in the U.S., man?
Mm.
Especially around the world, man. Who gets to go watch fucking Brazil perform at their best, supposedly?
But at least get to watch Brazil,
Yeah,
Nah, 100%. And I'm really happy that you had all that to say, because like I've actually done a decent amount of like watching some videos and reading stuff on Twitter and on articles and stuff about people's thoughts on the Copa America being held in the US.
yeah.
And outside of the United States, there's a lot of negativity. People are
I can
really
imagine that
unhappy
we don't deserve it
because
neither the
no,
World
they're
Cup.
saying it's all a money play,
Yeah,
basically, that they know that they could charge way more for tickets and drinks and merchandise and all that other shit in America than they can. Because I think it was so a video I watched explained it, that like I didn't know this, but apparently Copa America is on a schedule like the host nations.
Yeah,
It's like predetermined, like it goes in a cycle. And I forget, I think it was like maybe Venezuela or Colombia or some shit, but like
a little
one of
smaller
one of the
nation.
smaller kind of
That's
countries, not like one
crazy.
of the
Yeah,
major, and they were supposed to host this
that's
year,
crazy.
and their shit got snatched and given
I
to
can
us.
imagine because everything would have been super cheap out there,
And so
man.
that's what I'm like, in that
Wow.
sense, that's kind of crazy. And I do feel like if you're a fan somehow watching us from over there and you're pissed, like that's fair. Like I'm not even gonna take that away from you, because like we took their shit. We took their shit straight up, which is like the most American shit ever too,
It is
which is
crazy.
crazy because that's what we do.
It
We
is
take people's
crazy.
shit. Sometimes we take people. That's what happened. Like, bro, that's what happened.
No, it is
America's a
wild, but
crazy
yeah,
fucking
man.
place. America is not nice to the rest of the world
No,
most of the time.
yeah.
And so I can definitely see people's perception of it being just like, bro, like,
That such an American thing right
yeah,
there,
like,
man.
and
Like,
of
oh,
course putting it in like these massive stadiums and huge ticket prices and shit
so are
like
they
that.
skipping this nation I was supposed to be this year, or
I don't know if they're honestly, I don't know if they're gonna go back to them or not. I'm not sure what the
that's
situation is,
crazy.
but I mean, it seems like they're kind of just able to manipulate it if they feel
And just
like it.
move it
To
whenever,
yeah,
same
yeah.
shit with the World
So I
Cup.
mean, I
That's
guess the
hard.
way that they finessed it the last time when it was the U.S. one was, it was the Centenario,
Yeah,
which was like not officially on the schedule,
it
and so
was.
they were able to
Yeah,
host that one in the U.S. with a little bit less controversy, I
yeah,
think. But now that it happened, especially I think because it happened again so soon, because the last one was only 8 years ago over here,
yeah.
and then already within a decade of each other having
We have
another
another one.
tournament
Yeah,
here.
especially with the World Cup coming soon and everything.
Exactly, exactly. And so I think that there's just kind of this thought that like international tournaments might be moving to like only the places where they can kind of milk it for the most. You know, obviously the
I mean,
fucking
at least
World
they didn't go
Cups
to the
in
fucking Middle
Russia and
Eastern,
Qatar and
bro.
shit.
That's what I'm saying.
So I mean, that's one thing that I feel like makes it at least somewhat valid, is like we're playing in the tournament, we're all connected over here. And my thing, this is my opinion for real, is like we need to just combine CONCACAF and CONMEBOL. Cause there's
I've heard
barely
a
any
lot
decent
talks about
CONCACAF
that. Yeah,
teams. Hella of CONCACAF, and no disrespect to the
that's
smaller
crazy.
countries, but
Yeah,
like every fucking
I've heard a
tournament,
lot of people say that.
every fucking tournament, what's the final?
Mexico, United States. Every now and then we get a Costa Rica.
Maybe a Jamaica or some shit when Michael Antonio
It
was
was
really
Jamaica last
cooking.
year, yeah.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like
But it was Jamaica, Mexico,
overall,
yeah.
it's mostly us and Mexico, and so I feel like let's combine them shits. Now the problem is it kills like the smaller CONCACAF
Hmm.
nations development, and that I do feel like
They're definitely not gonna be
that
qualifying for
sucks for
these
those
types of
smaller
Because how much
CONCACAF
teams did
countries.
CONCACAF get for this tournament?
I think just the three. I
It
think
was
just
Canada,
Canada,
United
U.S.,
States,
Mexico.
Panama's also North America.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then there you go. I guess four.
Four, okay.
So I mean, and that's
Costa Rica
obviously
is also
way
North
more, but
America.
that's way more limited compared to like a Gold
Hmm.
Cup, which would take what at least like 8 or 12 teams or some shit from Concacaf. So like, it's definitely limiting those opportunities, but so it's a double edged sword. You're limiting the opportunities for like the smaller countries that are kind of barely qualifying and hoping to improve over a long term, but you're also giving those higher level nations worse comp to develop against. So you can give them like better teams in CONMEBOL.
Yeah.
So that's why it's basically, do you want to favor the development of the teams that are already doing pretty decent, U.S., Mexico, Canada, and that stuff, or do you want to favor the overall development of CONCACAF? I feel like you could kind of have it both ways and have those smaller teams play against each other, and like if any of them improve, they can rise up to that level and compete with the U.S. and Mexico and Canada and stuff like that.
But you see, you say, but it's like, yeah, how are you saying? You're missing the smaller teams like Guatemalan. I'm Guatemalan, of course,
Obviously, I
man.
knew I was
So,
waiting for you to bring that up. Yeah.
so it's like, as you see, we've been slowly this year. It's been a crazy year. It's honestly been like, honestly, I don't know how we're on the form that we're on, but we're honestly doing something special over there this year. It seems very promising, and it's like, and that's because of the way the system is right now. Only like those North American teams, and as you see, we do have a lot when you think about it.
Mhm.
U.S. Virgin Islands or some weird ass
Mhm.
nation like that out of
Mhm.
nowhere and shit, and like that's good for the like what's gonna happen to those smaller nations
Mhm.
compared to like yes, Guatemala's a small nation, but they're like at least going up as you see. I think it's like literally this past week they went up in the FIFA rankings. I think they went to like 108 for like the first time they've been.
Good job,
That's what
man.
I'm saying, man. So that's what I'm saying. It's like
I guess
what's gonna happen to those smaller nations that are like, okay, they're not super small, but they're like building something now in their nation with football, and thanks to
I
like
guess my
having the
thing is
system that we
like,
have.
why can't we have it be a system almost like what they do with the like how you have your Champions League, Europa League and stuff like that. Like why can't we combine CONMEBOL and CONCACAF and then have the better nations, no matter what they're from, in either
So
North or
like, do you
South
want like
America,
a
and
UEFA
then
thing? Like that's
no, no, no. Hear me out. Hear me out. And then you've got like the smaller countries in South America that maybe aren't doing as good at the moment, up against the smaller countries in North America. And like, isn't it better for you to be playing against someone that's basically at your level, so you can continue to improve
with
rather than
different
just getting
styles of
curb
football
stomped by
too.
someone
Yeah.
that's way fucking better than y'all, anyways? Like, what are you gonna learn from losing
So
8-0 to the
So
U.S.?
why do you say this besides? Because I feel like this is a perspective coming from like, oh, we'll develop better teams, develop better
I
players.
just think it's
We'll become like the dominant side of the world when it comes
my
to
thing is like
football and compared to Europe right now.
you're shoehorning CONCACAF teams into the Copa anyways.
Yeah,
Let's just put it all together. Why not? Like I just don't understand why it is. I understand like there's the separate federations, but in my opinion, like neither have enough depth of quality that compares to Europe. And if you put them together, then they almost maybe start to. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But at the moment, like there's just not as many high level nations in either federation.
yeah.
Like we've been singing Copa America. None of the good teams have like the quote unquote good teams historically have looked amazing at this tournament. And so I think overall putting both the North and South American teams up against each other and having like two separate tournaments, like you have your Copa America and you have like your Copa de Oro, and that
Yeah.
like they're both incorporating both shit. And so like your Copa America is your bigger teams and it's the best fucking 8 or 16 however many, and then the next best however many
Yeah.
in that kind of lower level tournament, and it allows those smaller nations to compete against each other, develop against each other, and eventually when one of these fucking ladies from one of these countries pops out some wonder kid, their fucking team will elevate to the next turn. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that gives a better system where you've got teams more consistently playing against competition at their level. That's what I'm looking
That'd
for.
be a big move though, because like I said, that's a lot of nations. Even though you might not see it,
No,
might not
hell
think
yeah.
about it, but
No,
that is
yeah.
a
Hell yeah.
lot of planning, a
It's a lot.
lot
It's
of
a lot.
moving around.
It's a lot.
Because I see what you're saying. We're gonna have like it's gonna be like basically like what is it like UEFA? I'm forgetting the. It's not a tournament, but they have like that little like group thing that they have throughout the year.
Nations League?
Nations
Yeah.
League, yeah, where they have like the lower leagues. They have a possible chance. Of,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
going
yeah.
up type of
Yeah,
thing.
and I think that's been a great system.
You think
And
that
it's
should be like implement? Let's basically a similar system implemented to.
but I think you
CONCACAF
only have
and
the depth
CONMEBOL.
to accomplish it if you combine the federations. I don't think CONCACAF or
No, no, yeah, that's
CONMEBOL.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying. It's like
exactly. Yeah,
if you combined it,
yeah.
that's what should the system basically be
I
around.
think something like that would be great. Yeah, I just think maybe have like they don't have this in Europe. They don't have like a sub Euros. I'm
Yeah,
saying have like a sub competition for
yeah,
those other countries to still
and of course
be able to compete
the
with each
big
other.
Copa America because that's probably gonna
Yeah,
become like come probably like Gold Copa America or some shit bullshit like that. Combine the Gold
some
Cup
shit. Yeah, I
and
don't know.
fucking
I
Copa
don't know.
America.
But and obviously you want to continue the tradition of Copa America because it's like the longest running tournament in like all of professional football, damn near. Like even older than the World Cup, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And so like you want to keep the name and that lineage continued.
So
You
what
know
the
what I
fuck would
mean?
be the name of the fucking
You just
federation?
the federate. I don't fucking know. That's not my job. That's not my job. North and South boys. That's what I'd call it. The North and South boys. So yeah, that's our thought. We
Bro,
kind of
got the
went on
best
a
of
way
names.
wider rant than I was expecting there, because now we gotta get into our thoughts on just who's gonna win the fucking Luis. Who's gonna win the fucking Copa America?
Argentina
Bro?
was interesting
Tell me
today,
who's
bro.
gonna win, bro. I know you know. Tell me who's gonna win,
I don't fucking know, dog. Honestly, I don't know. Cause honestly, I was gonna
bro.
say, honestly, not even like bias aside, if Argentina would have put on a better performance today, I was gonna say Argentina was gonna take it off. They were gonna do it again, but they looked fucking flat-footed today as hell, man.
Bro,
That
that
one
was a
nil was lucky,
terrible performance.
and then afterwards, Ecuador were on them like dogs, bro.
That was a terrible performance, bro. The Ecuador was all over their shit. They honestly like scraped out of that shit. It was
Dibu
unbelievable.
once again, man. Fucking
And
Dibu.
I'm happy I could say this shit on a public forum. He's cracked, bro. Like I don't understand.
Nah, for
Like
his good
how
crack,
does he
man.
do that? How does he save so many fucking penalties? That's just not
Bro's
normal,
a
bro.
fucking specialist. You remember the Netherlands who they used to bring on? Fucking who was it? Remember the Netherlands would always bring on a keeper for
Oh,
penalties.
Tim Krul.
Tim Krul, there
Yeah,
you go,
that
man.
only happened like one time at the
No,
World
they did
Cup,
it.
though.
They did it for like every game they went to penalties.
I only remember it happening that one time with
Mm-hmm.
LVG at the World Cup, and everyone thought LVG was a tactical genius, and then he became the Manchester United manager, and
No,
that
they
was a
did it.
great time. So I don't think that I don't know, bro. My thing is like the consistency and the confidence that he steps into these penalty shootouts with. I've never seen it.
That shit is
I've never
crazy.
seen it. I've just never seen it. Like a shootout is so favored against the goalkeeper. It's unbelievable, and the shit that he does, bruh.
It makes it basically impossible for the other team, man. It's like
I don't know how he does
I
it.
was literally watching the game at a family's party, and literally I was telling my girlfriend, "Watch, if he saves this first penalty, it's cool. They got it. They
Hmm.
got it." And once he got that first save,
It was
uh,
over. Yeah, nah, it's true. It's ridiculous, bruh. It's
because
ridiculous.
I skipped like over the biggest part, Messi missing,
Well, you know,
and that was a big step to take after the one they're doing it for, man. But
I feel
he's the one who let them down. But then
I
Dibu
feel like
still
it just
stepped up and
becomes not
still was
that big of
locked
a
in.
storyline once they win the game.
I
Like
feel
it
it.
that's why I don't like it.
That's
It
why we
doesn't matter as much. Yeah.
honestly went over like
And no
completely
one will remember
forgot
that.
about it
Yeah,
right
no
now.
one will remember that because it only matters if they actually go on and lose the game. No, and he's got to give huge credit to his teammates there, but I mean, it it's one of those wins where like if they go on and win the tournament, no one remembers this game. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
what did I tell you the other day when we were talking about this a day or so ago? And I was telling them that I feel like to win international tournaments, these ugly ass games have to happen, and you got to find ways to get through them. And
Yeah.
like the teams that do are the teams that win. Like it's very rare that every match, every game is some beautiful dominant performance where you just get the W easy. Like it's normally a couple of these games along your tournament run where shit looks pretty ugly, shit looks pretty bad, but then you figure it out as you're progressing through that these tournament stages and stuff. So it was ugly as hell. It was absolutely
So
ugly
what
as
do you think
hell.
this is gonna be the unicorn for Argentina's tournament this year? And they're just gonna go and blow it now and like just basically not tank through, but like
Nah,
basically.
I think they'll probably do better in the semifinal. I would assume. I mean, if we're looking at the tournament right here, and either Venezuela or Canada is not really gonna give them that tough of a match.
Canada's
It,
they
they
lost.
gave
They
them a
already
decent.
lost, but they gave them a decent
They
run.
gave them a decent game in the group stages, but I feel like you come into a knockout game with so much more intensity. Like I would be very confident in Argentina pretty fairly comfortably getting to the final.
Okay.
The problem is whoever they're going to be coming up against
Yeah.
is going to be in a different zone. Because if you look at this other side of the tournament,
Brazil, Uruguay.
whoever
That's
escapes
gonna be.
this game is going to be feeling like we're going to win this
And to
fucking
keep it
tournament.
honest with you, bro, Brazil's not looking good. Uruguay's been looking better.
I disagree.
You
I
serious?
disagree.
Nah,
They
man.
struggled against the United States.
It's not that they struggled, man. They had a
They struggled. They struggled.
scoring, but not really kind of
They didn't
holding
create a
control of
lot
the
of
game.
clear cut chances.
But they had a pretty good time. Of
They
control
had
of
a
the
very.
game, man.
I'll say this. It was solid defensively. Super solid defensively. 100%. But
you were just saying, isn't that what basically what a team like this needs?
yeah. But they're also now coming up against quality of players that like they haven't yet. Not even close. You know what I mean? Like this is by far and away the biggest
But
challenge
have
they've
they
had
been
at this
showing that
tournament.
quality?
I mean, not necessarily, but with this Brazil team, it only takes like literally 10 seconds. Like it could be one dribble move, one pass, and a goal, and it happens out of nowhere. The Rafinha free kick the other day, like they looked like they weren't playing that well in that final group stage match, and then out of nowhere, Rafinha steps up and buries that shit top bins. Like it's one moment of quality with this Brazil team. Even the fucking game we were at, where they were playing like pretty much dog shit against Costa Rica. There was that moment where Paqueta hits that shot and it just hit the post. If that is a yard inside, then that's that moment of quality that I'm saying. Like, this Brazil team, you can't bank on them having a bad day at the office like they did when we watched them.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, they have so many game changing players on that team that it's pretty likely that at least one of them is going to pull up and have a serious moment of quality when they need it. And
But
I
Uruguay
think
too,
Brazil's
man.
defense has looked fairly solid as well.
But
Like,
Uruguay has their players, man. I know you're not a big fan of Darwin Nunez, but he's been having a pretty good tournament this
against
tournament.
Bolivia and Panama.
But even before in the preseason, man.
Okay, I mean, look, he's definitely like an extremely dangerous player as far as creating chances for himself and getting onto the end of things. But he's not clinical, bruh. Like, he's just not. Like, I've watched enough of him at Liverpool and for Uruguay to say that, like, he is not a lethal finisher. I don't think he has that in him. And he's obviously young. He can improve still. But,
This was a bring back Diego Forlan.
well, I mean, bruh, if they could put fucking Suarez in a time machine, I think that's what they do for real. Or Cavani. But realistically,
He's
like,
on the team, huh? But he just hasn't done anything.
Suarez?
Yeah, he's on
Yeah,
the
nah,
team.
he's just old as hell. Yeah, he's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
But nah, bro, I don't think they really had. In my opinion, that's a Brazil win. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think Uruguay have been impressive against really bad teams, pretty bad teams, and then as soon as they came up against even a half decent team, they didn't look dangerous at all. And so we'll see. I mean, it'll be definitely an interesting match. It's by far the best match of this like whole quarterfinals section.
Yeah, definitely.
So that'll be super interesting to watch. But I do you have I put my balls on the line, bro. Come on, Uruguay or Brazil. That's the biggest game in this fucking
I
tournament
was
so
gonna take
far.
the interest in taking on Uruguay, man. I feel like they're barely gonna take it from Brazil. I feel like it's gonna be one of those.
You're just mad.
I feel like no. I just feel like one of those. It's gonna be one of those tournaments where they go home crying, man. I'm sorry, but they're just gonna be that disappointment this year in this tournament.
Alright, that's fair enough. That's fair
I've
enough.
seen it live. I've seen it pretty well, man. To be able to say Uruguay probably has that one.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
It's not gonna be a convincing win, man, but it's definitely gonna be a Uruguay victory.
I mean, look, they've shown that they have the quality to get it done. Like, they can get their way through that game. I just don't think that they're gonna be able to match up with a team like Brazil. We'll see though. We'll see.
We didn't even think about the last matchup though. It was Colombia and Panama.
I mean,
He said, I mean, you're wild, bro. Okay, whatever,
bro,
man. When Panama
Colombia's
goes through,
probably
man, you have to
gonna
buy
win.
a Panama jersey, man.
I don't give a fuck, bro. Fuck nah. Fuck those fools. If I ever see one of them, I'm just like Tim Weah, boy. Just like Tim Weah. Ay, ay, ay.
So what were we talking about before we went to the break?
We're about to talk about the Euros.
Oh, sheesh.
Because it's been a wild tournament so far.
It was a boring round of 16, but it honestly got interesting right now.
I would say there was some decent games in there. Like, look, the England game for 90 minutes was pretty shitty, but that last, like, obviously, like, the last minute of regular time and then that extra time was pretty entertaining with England and getting that late W. So, like, there was a moment there at least. Like, it maybe hasn't been the best tournament, but there's at least been some moments to kind of, you know what I mean? I think Switzerland beating Italy was obviously, like, another huge upset and a big moment and stuff like that.
How do you think England's going to view Switzerland as an opponent? Do you think they're going to see them dangerous, or do you think they're going to be like, oh, we got this, especially coming off that win?
Well, I think that they're going to have to take them seriously because they beat Italy, which is the team that they just lost to in the most recent Euros before this one in the final. So I think that they're going to understand that, like, this is a legit team and we can't take them lightly. But, I mean, we'll see. I think Switzerland was a bit more. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say I think Switzerland was a bit more suited to playing against a team like Italy because they're a bit more defensive naturally. But that's been England this tournament. It's just that they shouldn't be. I don't inherently think of them like that in my head, but I should as long as Southgate continues to be the manager at least. Jeez, Oof, I can't wait for him to be gone. That shit sucks,
So
man.
like, but you gotta move forward because so what's going on right now? That's what I'm telling you. So what do you think is gonna happen? Do you think it's gonna be?
I think it's gonna be.
Do you think England's gonna wake up? They're gonna start actually.
I think it's gonna come down to the team selection, in my opinion. I think that's what pretty much every English fan that I've listened to on social media has been saying, that like the way that they're setting up, especially that attack with like Foden on the left and leaving out players like Cole Palmer and Anthony Gordon and like these more direct players in favor of more creative players, I guess, that aren't creating. And so that, you know what I mean? Like, I think that if Southgate has a pair of fucking balls and he wants to really go out on a strong note, because I think he's gone. I'm pretty sure that's been publicly
Yeah.
reported that like he's gonna be gone after this tournament. If he wants to go out on a strong note and bring a trophy
Yeah.
home, which has been the promise this whole time, I think he's got to do something bold and drop one of those big name players that maybe people don't expect to get dropped. I'm curious what the predicted lineup is supposed to be going into it. It looks like, yeah, it looks like it's still gonna be Saka and Foden, which is, I mean, I hope we're using Fotbob for reference, but I mean, hopefully they're wrong, because what they've been doing has not been working. If this is the case, if they are gonna go to this three at the back,
Back, yeah, that's
that
what I
would
was
be
about to ask
interesting,
you about. Yeah.
because I do think I've been wanting to see Trent in the wider spaces rather than in that central
Yeah.
area, and I think that pushing Trent back out wide might open up some more creativity there, but it's gonna be a tough matchup, because I'll tell you what, this Swiss midfield right here of Freuler and Xhaka with a Kanji right behind him, they don't fuck around, man. They don't fuck around. This is a physical team, and like they're gonna play you
A
hard.
very well-rounded team, as we've seen the whole tournament.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that like sticks out with this team, and it's kind of like a weird take, but like they got athletes, man. Their players aren't just fast, but they're strong as hell.
They're tall as fuck too. And Bolo, how tall is he? Like
Like
six
they're an
foot two or some
extremely
crazy ass
physical
shit,
team,
some shit
bro.
like that,
Like
bro.
they're gonna give England a tough day in that sense. And so I think it's gonna come on to guys like, I think that these two, Rice and Bellingham, are gonna have a huge amount of responsibility on their shoulders to
Mm.
be able to play through that physicality and stuff like that. But
So do you think? How do you think this is gonna work? Bellingham's gonna shift more into like an attacking role, and Rice is gonna more drop more central defensive.
um not necessarily, no. I think because they have this back line of three, I think you're probably gonna see either fullback advancing up and kind of making that line of four where you'll have Saka, Kane, Foden, and then either fullback kind of as that front four kind of line,
Yeah.
and then the other fullback dropping it and kind of into the three in the midfield, and you'll have Bellingham, Rice, and then another fullback kind of making that overload in the midfield. That'd be my guess, is that you would want to get numbers in midfield and numbers in attack to try and counter, because they're going to be able, like we said, they're a quick team. They're going to be able to close down spaces quick. So you want to have overloads to pass into in these areas. But I don't know, man. With a Southgate team, it's like it's a fucking coin flip, man. Like I feel like I can never predict how they're gonna come out and play, because they do every once in a while come out and have a solid performance, but more often than not, it's underwhelming.
Yeah.
It's underwhelming. That's probably the perfect word to summarize it. Is Southgate's England to me is just underwhelming.
All right. So to bring it all in a wrap up, what do you think is advancing from your take? England or Switzerland?
England. I
Is
gotta
it?
I gotta say
Okay.
England.
Okay.
I gotta say England. Like
Okay.
Switzerland are a solid team, but I gotta think that the quality of England will overwhelm them. My guess, if I could, the whole shit on this side is definitely, in my opinion, going to be England versus the Netherlands in the one semifinal. This is where it's unpredictable, and that's why I'm so excited for tomorrow morning, because like
Germany,
these games are going
Spain.
to be fucking electric. I have no idea what's going to happen in either of them, honestly, because France hasn't looked great, Portugal hasn't looked great. Either team could pop out and have,
That's
you know,
true.
because they both have such match winners on both sides. You know, like Who's to say Bruno's not scoring a hat trick tomorrow?
That's crazy.
Who's to say Mbappe's not scoring a hat trick tomorrow? They're that
Even though he's
that's
been
very
very
much in,
disappointing this
but
tournament,
that's
bro.
still in the very much in the realm of possibility. You've got
It
players
is.
like Rafael Leao on one side. You know what I mean? You've got guys like Ousmane Dembele and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be a very very competitive game. I would be very interesting to see what's gonna happen with both of these games tomorrow. Is gonna be absolutely
Damn.
bangers, man. I don't even I have no idea what to say. All I'll say is this: whoever comes out of that Spain Germany game is gonna be my favorite to win because those are the two teams that have impressed the most.
Okay.
I think those are the two teams that are the most balanced of a
Yeah.
squad. I think they both have strong from your goalkeeping, defense, midfield, attack. I think they've got it all solid, and I don't think any of the other nations have impressed as much as those two. And so that is for sure the one that I have my eye on the most. But I think that's a pretty common take, though. I think a lot of people are saying that like whoever's gonna come out of that fixture is the favorite going forward for sure. But the
I never
beautiful
even
thing
heard
about
that,
that
but
side
yeah.
of the tournament is that whoever comes out of that other fixture with Portugal and France definitely has a chance. You know what I mean? Like the Euros, these semifinals and these quarterfinals are gonna be just it's gonna be great.
That's crazy.
I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. I don't know what your thoughts are. What's your predictions?
I don't know, man. From the Portugal and France game, I feel like it's gonna be Portugal going out, man. I don't know. They just been getting too lucky this
No,
tournament,
that's
man. They've been
understandable.
getting too
And
lucky,
France
bro.
has such quality. Absolutely. No,
Bro.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that.
But it also depends. It depends on the attack, man. It depends if we're gonna see Mbappe. Is he actually gonna come out and is he actually gonna come out and play? Is he gonna or he just gonna do what he has been doing? Just
I
kind of
wonder if
like
the mask is fucking with him because he didn't look great against Belgium.
that's what I'm
He didn't
saying.
look
That's
great.
what I'm saying.
We'll see. We'll see. That one will be interesting.
But with Spain and Germany, that's gonna be probably honestly the closest game we ever gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole tournament is not gonna be it. Even though not every game has been an easy swipe per se, but it's almost been like okay, one of the side has been dominating. And that's usually the one that won the game.
For the most part, yeah.
But honestly, I feel like I'm gonna give it. Ooh, bro, that's crazy.
It's a tough one.
It's crazy, bro.
That's a tough one. I don't even have a prediction for that one.
I might give it to Germany, bro.
Yeah?
Honestly, yeah. Because I feel like the defense is not as good as Germany's defense.
I hear you.
And the attack is still not. Yes, Yamal, Nico, but I don't know, man.
We'll see, bro.
I
We'll
feel
see.
like they're not as experienced as a Musiala.
I mean, they're all
As
young, though. They're all young. Yeah, Musiala has a bit more experience, but they're all young.
Goretzka. Yeah, more players are more like.
I don't think Goretzka's at the tournament.
Who's been playing center mid?
I think he's injured. It's been Andrik, yeah.
Oh, Andrik.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it a little bit more interesting.
Nah, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that both teams, like, neither side really has a whole lot of experiences at the international level. Like, they're both kind of inexperienced at this. It's like, what I'm saying is it's like new generations on both sides. Like, this isn't like the classic Spain teams we've been used to, and this isn't the classic Germany teams we've been used to.
But this could be a classic game, though. We'll see.
I think it will. I think it will. Damn, the bar. You're fucking crazy. Oh my gosh. I mean, do you have any more thoughts on the Euros? I think we'll have our next
Honestly,
episode
I feel-
before these like next round of fixtures are played.
With the Netherlands and Turkey, honestly, bro, I feel like it's gonna be a close game, but I feel like Netherlands is gonna take it either if they go
I
extra
don't
time or
honestly,
time.
man. I don't see Turkey having much of a chance
Mhm.
there, and to me, it's because they really. I don't think you
They did
watched the game
solid
against
all around-
Austria.
No, I didn't pay attention to that.
The
one.
game against so I watched. I had the time and I was available to watch it, and it was a wide open game. Like it was complete. And I'll say this from a neutral perspective, it was maybe the most entertaining game I've watched this tournament. It was completely end to end. There were chances nonstop, and both
Austria
fan
has a good
bases
attack, you know?
are so fucking passionate. So like every tackle, every shot, every save was like a huge moment, and so that game felt massive. It was awesome. And you're right that Austria does have a lot of quality for sure. They have some really good attackers. Their striker, Grealish, I think is his
I've heard
name.
of him, yeah.
I need to fucking double check this because he was cooking in that game. I think he might have came off the bench. Yeah, Gregorisic. That's the one. Gregorisic was having himself one hell of a game. Him and Grilic were having some really good games for sure. And so I think that because Turkey looked so open against a team like Austria, I feel like a bit higher quality
Like
opposition
the
like the Netherlands,
Netherlands are
I'm looking
definitely
at
taking
this one
advantage of
as
that.
potentially being like the blowout of this round.
Ooh,
Because I
that's
don't think
crazy.
England has it in them to score like 3-4 goals.
Yeah, no, I feel that,
I
but I
don't
don't think it's gonna
think
be a
those other
blowout.
two fixtures are going to be, because these are going to be close. Spain, Germany, Portugal, France. Those are going to be close games. This might fuck around and be like a 4-1.
I don't know about that one. I thought it was gonna be
Cody
a close game.
Akpo, Javi Simmons looked fucking brilliant. Bro, they just put 3 up. They just put up 3 against Romania. They put
It's Romania, bro.
They
It's Romania.
that's just 4-1. That's
It's the
just 4-1.
Okay,
That's just
okay,
4-1
whatever.
on God.
Okay.
Netherlands are gonna cook. And low key, because they're playing into their form, they're gonna come into that semifinal with so much confidence. We might see Netherlands in the Euro final,
That's
which
crazy. Okay.
no one
That's a
would have
crazy
had
take.
predicted before the tournament, I don't think. Like I think a lot of people are looking at this generation currently, this team as being kind of transitional.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple more players kind of progressing a bit more, and next tournament maybe is their tournament. But they've looked fucking, man. They've been cooking, man. I think this might be a big high scoring match. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm expecting. But yeah, man, we'll see. The Euros has been interesting
Both
so far,
tournaments,
bro.
bro.
Both tournaments have been
They've
interesting so
crazy
far.
as hell, man.
If you,
A lot of more boring games, interesting, but
that's always international football though. You're always gonna get those 1-0s and shit, but
yeah.
like they feel more intense because it's the
A lot
tournament.
of draws are like, how did the Euro start with a lot of like with a lot of own goals and a lot of bullshit
Yeah,
like that?
yeah. I mean, it's international football, bro. It's sloppy,
Crazy,
man.
man.
It's just, I know, man. It's crazy. It is wild. It is wild. That shit, man. So to kind of wrap up the football section of the show today, give me your right now. I tried to pressure earlier. This fool wouldn't say shit. Give me your winner for Copa America and Euros right now, cause I'm gonna go put like 10 bands on
Crazy as hell,
it.
dog.
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy as hell.
Who's your Copa America and Euros winner right now?
Euros Germany. How many went to Germany this
Okay.
year? They're strong, bro.
Host nation. I
They're
feel it.
strong as hell.
I feel
man.
it. Copa.
Honestly, they're one of the few games that I watch, and watching them play, they've been playing some really great football, man. Copa. Fuck, man.
Say it. I know you want to say it.
It's gonna be Argentina, probably.
I knew what you were gonna say, bro. Germany and Argentina, bro. I think there might be some other links between those countries. I don't know if today's show is the one to talk about that, but I
Yeah.
think there might be a couple German Argentinians running around.
That's crazy, man. I was thinking about the World Cup final, dog.
Oh,
You're crazy.
yeah,
as hell, dog.
that also happened. That also happened.
You wild as fuck, bro. I'm only thinking football.
Oh,
Crazy, bro.
man.
But yeah, man.
I'm gonna say.
You too, bro. This was
I'ma say-
you've been dodging the whole time. I've been
I know, no. I'm gonna say. Honestly, I think Brazil's gonna win Copa. I know it sucks because we saw them play their worst match of the tournament, but I think it's one of those ones where they're continuing to play into their form as the tournament goes on.
Crazy.
And I feel like they're just. I think that going through teams like Uruguay and most
They're
likely
gonna pick up some
Colombia,
form with that.
I
shit.
think that they're gonna be feeling themselves, and ultimately, this Argentina team is not it, bruh. It's not it.
It's been playing interesting, man.
Even in the World Cup, where they won the fucking World Cup, but like a lot of those games, like they kind of scraped it through with some penalties here and there.
Even the
and, like,
final.
that's what I'm saying, like,
the fattest choke in the century.
I feel
man.
like this Argentina team, like I've seen people, I think, might have been Landon Donovan that was commentating on the game earlier, but someone was trying to say that in the commentary earlier that like this is potentially one of the greatest national teams of all time if they win this Copa, and I was like,
Not
like
really.
they have the trophy case to back it up, but when you compare them to like that goated Spain team from the early 2010s or like the mid 2000s Brazil, it's like this team doesn't play that football. They scrape wins, but like they're a better team defensively than they are on attack.
It's just because they don't play with those shiny players. The only one, honestly, Messi, of course, but he hasn't been doing it a lot no more.
I mean, Larturo's the top goal scorer so far this tournament,
Yeah.
and then today,
Or wasn't
fuck
it?
off.
They just building football, bro. It's just literally slow
I'm just
building,
saying,
bro.
like, I feel like this Argentina team, because they have the GOAT and because they've won some tournaments recently, they get put into that bracket with like the best international teams ever. And I'm looking at it like from just the quality of football I'm watching. And look, I'm only fucking 23 years old. I wasn't watching Brazil in the 2000s. I was barely remembering Spain from the 2010s. So like I can't make a direct comparison, but from the highlights and everything I've seen, like the quality of football just doesn't feel like it's there to compare it to. And I'll say this: what I did watch was France in the mid to late 2010s. I'm taking that generation of France over this Argentina team
That's crazy.
every day of the week.
That is
100%.
That's
100%.
I mean, I agree with that.
There's players that were getting left out of those France squads that would probably be starting for Argentina damn near like that. France at that point had so
They had
much
a
depth.
lot of
Bro, their
rotational
midfield was like a
team,
dozen
yeah,
players
bro.
deep, bro. It was ridiculous. That
They
fucking
could build like four squads or
peak
some shit,
Conte, bro. Get the
Mhm.
fuck, bro. Like, we
Mhm.
just saw one of the actual best, like, international generations ever in France. I'm not putting this Argentina team in that category.
It's not a
Me
surprise though,
personally.
but that was a story with the World Cup and everything.
No, of course, like, bro,
Argentina
fucking.
defeated
It's
the
for
big
Messi
ass
thinks he's
World
Cody
Cup,
Rhodes and
France
shit. He
shit,
finished
man.
his story. GG's and shit.
This
That's,
was-
bro, that's a W. That's a W. But, like, I don't think. I'm just saying I can't put them in that bracket. So I'm saying Brazil, Copa. And honestly, I'm biased because I've just been loving how they've been playing. But I want to see Spain winning. Because Yamal and Nico, bro, they've been so good. Now that being said, if you're right and Germany win, I'll be happy because I might be the biggest Jamal Musiala fan walking this earth. I love the guy. He's like genuinely, in my opinion, on the same level as Jude. I think he's the like pinnacle of young players in the world right now. Jamal Musiala is gonna be one of the best footballers in the world for the next 10 years. It's done. He is fucking ridiculous.
And by the way, me saying Germany is crazy because I'm a Barcelona fan now.
What that is, I was interested, but not like I feel it though. Like they have been playing really well, and they also have that benefit of being the host nation, so they have a lot going in their favor. I could definitely understand that shit. I can understand that shit. But shit, man, it's time to fucking switch gears a little bit.
Bro,
You know what I'm saying? It's time
to.
to switch gears a little bit.
Oh man,
You know what I'm
bro.
saying? And we going over to bro. Let's talk about a real man sport. Let's talk about a real grown man sport right here.
Man.
The World Wrestling Entertainment, brother.
That's a crazy transition, man. So Money in the
WWE,
Bank,
bro.
bro.
So
Is it gonna be another mediocre
let me say this first of all,
online?
because no,
What do
hold
they
on,
call
pause,
it? What's the
pause,
stupid
pause,
ass name? Pay per
pause,
view.
pause,
Fucking.
pause, pause,
Okay,
pause.
bro. Fuck.
PLE, but
PLE.
pause,
Okay.
because I feel like motherfuckers might be confused what just happened, and so I just want to say that like the purpose of this shit is to just whatever the fuck. Like it's not like obviously football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, is probably like the main focus because that's really what brought us together in the first place. Like we've been fucking best friends for like over 10 years now. And the main thing that we talk about on almost a daily fucking basis is football, is that sport.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're fucking human beings. We have other shit that goes on. I don't sit around watching Yamal highlights for 24 hours a day.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? Like, there's other shit going on in my life.
Like early high school, man.
Yeah, like there's been phases for sure. Like there's definitely been nights where it's 3 a.m. and I'm on fucking like who scored looking at stats and shit and I'm like, what am I doing with my life? This is crazy. But that's not every day, you know what I mean? Like sometimes we're watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Some and that's and I bro
It's different.
and let me say this. It's cracked right now. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about this shit if it wasn't cracked
Let's
right
be
now.
honest, it's something we both took a break from, but like recently we
fuck
both
yeah.
came
Bro,
like
a fat break, like about a 10-year break. I'll say around the time we started being homies
so we
in like junior high.
Mhm.
That's right around when I started kind of falling off with that shit. And so it's literally taken me until seeing like how fucking sick the Roman Reigns shit looked, how sick the Cody Rhodes shit was, and like all these different people. I remember one of the first Raws I watched in like 10 fucking years, and I see Seth Rollins come out and the whole crowd singing along with them and shit, and I was
Yeah,
like,
man.
damn, bro, wrestling's turned. Like, this shit's fire
I'm
still.
just
Hell
saying,
yeah.
man, just state
And
that
so,
shit, man.
I
Cause
say all that to say that, like, this shit is gonna be a part of this shit 100%. And it's a big deal right now because Money in the Bank is dead ass, in my opinion, like, S tier PLE. Like, it's one of the best of the
we
fucking
literally
year.
seen what just happened with the Money in the Bank, bro. Who's
Exactly,
carrying
like
the title right now,
exactly,
man?
100%. And it's not. It's because, bro, it's one of those things where people's careers fucking change, and in wrestling, so many of these events, shit is so predictable, and
So
we know what's finna happen. But like, the Money in the Bank is one of those ones where like the fool who's next up is finna get their chance, and like we literally see people elevate their entire careers, bro. Like, I think the best example is the first ever winner was Edge. Like, that fool went from like a high level wrestler to like the
rated R
opportunist and all this shit,
superstar,
and
fucking
exactly
yeah,
winning the title off of Cena. Like, it elevated his career and made him the
to
legend that I
legendary
watched
status.
growing
Yeah.
up. And so like, that Money in the Bank briefcase can fucking change
So
your whole shit. And so what are your thoughts coming into this shit?
no, I've always one thing I wanted to ask you before I give you that
Mm-hmm.
shit is, bro, you never really talked about El Campeon, bro. How you think about him?
Bro, high key,
Fucking Damian
I
Priest.
fuck with DP Heavy.
I'm good. No, for real. that you're crazy as fuck, dog. Wow, that's fuck, dog. Hey, yo, no.
Nah, but fucking, you talking about the country taker?
Take it, bro. Bisexual,
Nah, bro.
bisexual, right?
That fool, honest to God, bro. Like, I remember when I was watching the post. I fuck with DPM. He's crazy. I remember when I was watching the post WrestleMania show, and he was kind of talking his shit after winning the title,
Yeah.
and that fool was saying like, people don't know, like, I was sleeping in cars, I was like homeless,
Oh
like
yeah, you
grinding my
got
way
deep,
up for all
yeah.
this shit, and I was like, damn, bro, I know you went through all this, and I know he's a little older too, cause like he's in good shape, he looks good for his age and shit,
Yeah.
but he's like in his late 30s and
Mhm.
shit, and to like be at his age and just now kind of hitting that prime in his career, and especially like coming from kind of like a underrepresented place in Puerto Rico and shit like that, like I got nothing but respect for Damian Priest, like, and everything I've seen from him, like behind the scenes and whatever the fuck, he seems like a genuinely stand up
What
dude.
do you think of his wrestling though?
I think he's right, like just below Finn Balor as far as like a strictly in ring worker. But I
Okay.
think that power wrestling style,
If it's
he's
in the
actually really good at it, and I
yeah.
think he has that like really solid style. He's got really good stamina, and I think like moments like fucking him versus Drew when he
That was
gets
I was about
caught
to
in the
say. That's a
ropes and
good
shit,
match.
and
That was
it's
a good
like, bro,
match.
the way that he worked through that
For those
injury
two
and
big
worked through
ass
all that
fools and
shit, and like,
especially, bro, yeah.
bro, like that was a phenomenal example of him like showing his ability to like work on the fly and stuff like that. And so like overall, I've been a big fan of El Campeon. I think like, because bro, let's be real, like when Rhea was in Judgment Day, it all revolved around her cuz she's so over. Like the fans fucking
Adore,
love Rhea
yeah.
Ripley. And so everything Judgment Day does revolves around her shit. As she was gone, I was really thinking like, bro, they're gonna like kind of maybe struggle to keep
Or like
this
break them up or
momentum
some
up.
shit, yeah.
But bro, he has stepped into that leadership role, and like him and Finn Balor
But
having their little beef, him fucking
but how you
getting pissed about the Liv
but how
Morgan
you seen a
shit.
lot of people been saying that's possibly like it's gonna be some turn because you fucking see Finn Balor sometime doing some faces out there like that fool tells him some shit
No,
or
I do
whatever,
think
yeah.
I think we are literally potentially about to see at Money in the Bank his babyface turn. But what I'm saying is that like I'm here for it. I think they've built it up properly. Like he's won that championship. He's finally having his moment, and like the whole group is obsessing over fucking Liv Morgan. And it's like, I'm the world heavyweight champion. We should be fucking doing what the fuck I'm saying we should
So
be
what?
doing.
So what? Is it gonna be Seth Rollins or El Campeon?
Dead ass.
Dead ass. Okay, before you say that, before you say that, how do you feel about Seth's surprise return?
Kind of a L in the sense that the show they did it on, so much other shit happened. Because that was a
Yeah,
show where the White Six debuted
yeah.
and all. Like, bro, like That
It
was
was the
the
big
only
ass
thing
Raw.
is that
Yeah, it
it
was a
got kind of
crazy fucking
outshined.
Raw.
It reminded me of when Randy Orton made his comeback, and then at the end of the
Fucking
night,
CM
CM Punk
Punk.
made his
Yeah.
comeback. You know, like that's all we're talking about is CM Punk. That's literally what happened with Seth Rollins, where it's like, bro, all we talk about is the Wyatt Six and shit. We don't give a fuck. But so that was the only thing is I feel like the timing was maybe a little off, but I get why they did it because I guess they wanted to get him back for this match at Money in
Yeah.
the Bank. Me personally, I hope. Damn, do I really feel it? Yeah, I hope Damian wins. Cause like he's got this transitional champion like tag thrown at him, and I want him to get like a legit win to where people gotta respect that shit. But that's just cause I fuck with
Yeah.
him. I could genuinely see that match going either way. Cause bro, Seth Rollins, like, how are you gonna bet against that fool? Like in this stage, it's like he's just below Cody Rhodes as being like the top
See,
baby face in
Seth.
the
So
company.
you think Seth is probably gonna take it then?
I'm saying it's like dead ass 50-50 for me.
That's
Like that's a
crazy.
really tough
So
match
that's a
to
match you're gonna
call.
look forward to and watch.
It's that one, and then can I tell you what else? It's Sammy versus Braun. Those two, I dead ass. It's a fucking coin flip. Like
Okay.
I feel pretty confident that the Bloodline is gonna win their 3-man tag team match, and then the Money in the Bank matches. I don't even try to predict it because it's like
It's whatever happens, man.
exactly, like those matches are such a clusterfuck. Like last year, I'm not gonna lie, I was rooting heavy for LA Knight because he was like on that climb up. But this year, even though he's in it again, like it's kind of up in the
How
air.
do you
And
feel about him
realistically,
this year, Brett? Honestly, how do you feel
well,
about him?
let's get through this shit first. Let's get through this
Alright.
shit first because I do wanna get through this because this card is it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. So we started with Damian and Seth. I'm saying this shit is like 50-50, bro. Like I really can't call it. I don't know how you feel. 50-50 or what?
Honestly, bro, they're probably gonna keep it with El Campeon, bro.
You think so?
Yeah,
You think so?
they're gonna. It's gonna be like that. How you said it's probably gonna be that baby face turn. It's probably gonna be like Seth probably on the floor crying.
That's
Like
not see that's
he's probably gonna like lift off his hand and give him the fucking like nod of approval and shit.
that's been one thing I've seen people saying though is that Finn is gonna like try to interfere, but it's gonna go wrong,
Mm.
and he'll cost Damien the title, and that'll be the babyface turn because he'll
Oh, okay,
finally have
okay,
that
okay.
moment of being like, "Fuck these
Who
fools, I'm
knows,
done with the
man? Like
Judgment
you
Day."
said, it's 50-50. I'm just guessing,
Nah,
but
yeah, it's 50-50. It's 50-50. But I'm curious to see what you think about this one right here, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker, because that's the other one that, like, to me, like, we'll get to the actual ladder matches and all that other shit, but this is a tough one to call, bro. It's a tough one to call. Because I wasn't even sure if Sammy was going to beat Gunther at WrestleMania.
that's crazy
You
for
know what
him.
I
I feel
mean?
like they're gonna give it to him.
I felt like it was leaning in his favor, but at the same time, there was Chad Gable kind of
Yeah.
looming in the shadows
Mm-hmm.
and all this other shit. And I just wasn't 100. Like Sami Zayn is just one of those guys where like I'm never 100% sure he's gonna go over. Like even when it feels like it makes more sense for him to win, he's just is. I feel like it's never a sure thing with him. He's just like low enough on the babyface tier where like they could beat him and it wouldn't
Yeah.
really make too
Mm-hmm.
much of a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like so it's kind of his matches to me are kind of tougher to predict sometimes. And honestly, like with the way that they've been building Braun Breaker, pushing him so heavily over the last couple months, in my opinion, like they've really gone like leaning into this whole like
Yeah.
he's an indestructible badass type of angle.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it'll be almost kind of fucking stupid to have him lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like
I don't know
he
about that
almost
one.
has to
Mm-hmm.
win. He almost has to, I think he has to win. I think he has to win.
I don't know about that one, bro.
You could give your opinion.
I feel like, honestly, bro, like I told you, this is not no bias because you knew I did not was a big fan of Braun Breaker at first. They were just giving him squash matches, this and that. But until recently, they've been getting him like some pretty good, decent matches. We actually does show his like wrestling ability and like he just and that's like a big thing or part of it that makes it like his character makes him like fucking actually like I see what the fuck you're talking about now.
Mm.
Where he's like that fucking extreme motherfucker. He'll fucking like fuck your ass up type of shit. But honestly, bro, I feel like they're gonna give it to Sammy, but it's gonna be like that was barely gonna fucking win though. But it's gonna be like
If
it's
Sammy
probably gonna start
wins,
like some type of like long feud with them.
okay,
I feel like that's the angle they're probably gonna
I can
take
see
with that.
that. My prop, can I tell you the issue with that is like I just feel like you kind of if you fumble the momentum right now, you might never be able to get it back to 99 miles an hour.
I don't know,
And
man.
right now, he's moving at 99 miles
I
an
feel
hour,
like
both
he has to grow on
physically
people, bro,
and
and he's still growing on
metaphorically.
everybody, bro. I feel like everybody's not his fan.
I think he grew on
They still
bro.
boom, bro. He's still boom.
But that's because he's a heel. Every time he comes out, I hear my phone.
Okay, it's a few motherfuckers,
Nah,
bro.
it's me in my bedroom.
Exactly, bro. That's
Nah,
crazy,
bro, I'm
dumbass, bro.
telling you, nah. I think you're tripping. I think you're tripping, and it's documented now, bro. Trust.
Nah,
I
bro.
think Braun is taking that shit. He has to. He
There's
has to.
no
They've built him
possibility, bro.
up so effectively recently. If you have him lose now, it kills it, bro. It kills
There's
it.
no, I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna take the angle where, like I said, it's gonna start some type of long rivalry
I think it
between
could be
both of
what
them.
you're saying, but literally the opposite. Cause let's be real, Sami Zayn's better on the chase. I hate to say it.
That's crazy.
It's kind of the babyface thing, bro. Baby faces are better more often than not chasing the gold, and then once they get it, it's
So do
kind
you
of
feel like
like
that's gonna be his upsetting moment this year, whatever, and he's
I
gonna come
think,
back from it
and
or
that's what
whatever?
Sami Zayn always fucking does.
Do you
He's
think
gonna
he
come
might?
back. It'll be a long like grind for him to get back, and eventually, maybe at like SummerSlam or like one of the big things later this year, he'll beat Braun and get his title back or some shit. But I don't think that right now. That's my thing is the timing of it, bro. Like Braun is on a fucking heater. Like every time he comes out, even if they're booing, motherfuckers know something is about to happen right now. Like his energy is up, and I feel like you gotta keep that going, bro. You gotta keep that going. And like Sammy's not gonna lose no hype from this. You know what I mean? Sami Zayn is Sami Zayn. He's over, bro. Like people who understand wrestling know how good Sami Zayn is. No one is gonna look at Sami Zayn any different for losing this match. But if Braun Breaker loses this match,
So like, what's gonna be the
people are gonna look at
All
him
right, so what's
different.
gonna be the angle for Sami Zayn then? Cause like,
The comeback. Ah, fuck! I lost it. I
see,
didn't
so
know.
do
I
you think that
gotta.
fool's gonna get like fucking like really fucking injured this match or whatever? You
I
think
mean,
that fool? Do you
potentially,
think
yeah.
they're
He
gonna
might
show
take some time off
fucking
of
Braun
TV.
Breaker's fucking
Yeah,
power and
he
like,
might take some
and
time
that
off
fool's
of
gonna fuck
TV.
him up or
But that's what
whatever?
I'm saying. He'll come back and it'll be the angle of him trying, like literally what he did with Chad Gable and Gunther.
I feel
Him trying to, yeah, like that. I feel like that works really well for him. I think Braun gotta win this shit, bro. You have any serious thoughts on the tag match Cody, Randy, and Kevin versus the Bloodline? I don't have any deep like. I feel like we could roll
It's,
pretty quick past this because in my
I feel
opinion, it's very
I feel
simple.
like you're
The
overlooking.
Bloodline has to win.
I feel like you're
The
overlooking it.
Bloodline has to
I feel
win.
like you're overlooking
They
it.
have to beat the shit
I
out
feel
of
like
them.
you're overlooking it. I feel like
No,
something's gonna happen, bro.
I disagree.
It's not gonna be probably the match
Can I tell you
decider, but
why,
like
bro?
some
Can
big
I
shit's
tell
gonna
you
probably
why?
happen.
Can I tell you why?
Why?
Them motherfuckers just put Paul Heyman through a table. They just put Paul
That was
Heyman through a
great.
table.
That was amazing, bro.
And so, can I tell you what? When you do some shit like that, they not finna waste that. They not finna take all that heat, all that momentum, and burn that shit on a loss to the fucking Avengers over here. You know why they assembled the Avengers? So they can get their fucking asses kicked and get even more heat. If I could bet money on the WWE, I would put money on the
Why do you think a
Bloodline.
bunch of more Samoans gonna come out of nowhere?
Probably. Probably. I heard a rumor that there's more.
There's like two more.
There's a couple more in the shadows somewhere.
Yeah.
There's more Fatus and shit. Jacob got some brothers, I'm pretty sure. And that
That's
shit.
crazy, man.
Because he's different.
Bro, that fool's
Like,
fucking
the
weird,
Tamatanga and Tamnaloa, they cool. That motherfucker Jacob Fatu is a fucking.
That was a good wrestler.
I've seen some highlight clips of his shit from the other promotions. I think he was over in Japan and shit. Boy, he is a fucking weapon. So that's why I'm saying, like, you just got this crazy ass fool in here. I heard he might not even get into Canada.
Oh, for real?
He's got a fucking rep sheet.
No way.
Apparently, bro, I don't know what it is. I could try it here.
Bro, please find that shit,
Jacob
yo. Oh my
Fatu
god.
criminal.
There's no way.
That's so messy. I hate doing this on a
This
podcast.
was a criminal?
Let's just say he's done some things. Let's just say he's done some things when he was a kid. Let's just say he's done some things when he was a kid and
Bro,
leave it at
had a
that.
strap,
Let's
bro.
just
He
leave
had
it
a
at let's just
strap.
leave it at that. he did a couple of things when he was a kid. It's not a big deal because kids make mistakes.
You can
He's
mute
an
the
older
scrap.
he's an older man now and shit. Kids make mistakes, and so hopefully that's I'm
Kids
just saying
make mistakes.
the only
Bro had a strap, man.
the only reason I brought
Bro
that
had a strap, man.
the only reason I brought that shit up is because I see people say he might not make it into Canada, literally, because they're weird about this shit. So like, I'm just hoping he makes it into Toronto. Fucking, we gotta call 666. We gotta call Drizzy, bro, and tell him to let Jacob Fatu into Canada, bro, because that shit, bro, for real. But even if he's not there for whatever reason, the Bloodline gotta win this match. Cause this is the thing, bro. Because Solo is stepping into Roman's spot in the Bloodline,
Yeah.
it's hard, bro. You've heard the fans. We want Roman every week. Like, it's hard to get the people behind the new tribal chief, quote unquote. They had to do something crazy. Put Paul Heyman through a fucking table to try and get those fools over. And so now is not the time to put. It's literally the same mindset I have with the Braun Breaker shit, where it's like the timing of this, it has to be the Bloodline. It has to be the Bloodline. Because they need it. That's kind of how I look at a lot of this shit. Is who needs it more?
Yeah.
Who needs it more? Cody Rhodes is Cody fucking Rhodes. Randy Orton is the most, like, he could lose every match for the next year. Like John Cena, how he just loses every match. But it's John Cena. Ain't no one give a fuck. That's Randy Orton. Kevin Owens is like also kind of one of those guys that he could just lose matches and no one cares because it's Kevin Owens. You know what I mean? So I feel like because they're so fucking established.
So you're basically saying it's gonna be like a heel heavy card.
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, so far, shit, I didn't realize. Yeah, I predicted Damien, fucking Braun, and the Bloodline. Yeah, the only one I think I might be wrong on is Damien, but those other two, I think I'm for sure right. But let's start with the women's tag match. We'll leave the men's for last. But it's fucking Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark.
Oh, so you're talking about the Money in the Bank?
Yeah. The ladder match.
Yeah, okay.
So, I have two people who I would want to win. I don't know if they're gonna, but I'll make my case and you tell me what you think. My first one, and this is one I've seen pretty common on the internet, is Chelsea Green. Because it fits her character so well. Like, she's already... Like, you remember in the Royal Rumble? We watched that shit together, the Women's Rumble. Yeah. And she, like, dove under the rope and, like, hid the whole time. Mm-hmm. Like, she's been that conniving kind of heel. Like, always like, plotting, scheming.
The straight diva or whatever.
Her with the Money in the Bank briefcase, there's so much opportunities for just funny, entertaining wrestling shit. And to me, like, wrestling doesn't always have to be super fucking serious. And, like,
offended about that.
Her shit, it would just be fun. It would be fun. It would be fun. I would support it for the fun of it. And also, I fuck with Piper Niven heavy, her tag partner. And so anything to get them two in the spotlight more.
You think she had a good match with Bayley last?
100%, yeah. 100%. I actually do, yeah. I actually do. And I think that, yeah, I just think she would be an entertaining ass winner. I think Chelsea would be good with the briefcase. I think it really, really suits her character, basically. The other one, and this one's left field. This one's left field. But I'm going to just say, I am probably, like, one of the bigger fans of the tag team of Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler.
Why is that?
Because them bitches come out and whoop fucking ass. They don't give a fuck. And they're always mad and they're always gonna beat you the fuck up. They don't give a
They just
fuck.
Like the generic heel though.
I get it. I get that. My thing is, like, with Shayna especially, it's so believable because of her MMA background with her, like,
it was the same shit with fucking Ronda Rousey, bro.
But my thing is, like, Ronda already got the bread, she got the clout. Shayna is like, it's like cool to see like a kind of lower key MMA fighter chick basically get that look. And so, like, just I like their characters basically of, like, and I think it's because in female wrestling, like, the era I grew up in, the divas were just there to be looked at. Like, they weren't given any respect as actual in-ring competitors. And so to now see women like Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler that are like, they will act like I would be scared they'll kick my ass. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're actually intimidating. Like you're getting like your female versions of like a Brock Lesnar, a Braun Breaker, where they have like that intense,
That
legit,
powerhouse, yeah.
and it's like they're not doing all the extra wrestler showy shit. Like their whole characters is like being badass. And I fuck with that shit, cause it's like, bro, come out and beat a bitch up. Yeah, fuck that shit. That shit fire. So like I fuck with Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler, both of them, and since Zoe Stark is in this tag match, I'm gonna be hoping she does well. I know she's not gonna win it, but like I'm a fan and I just wanted to put that out there. But if I was hypothetically putting bread down, like if I was really trying to say who I think is gonna win, realistically probably Lyra or Tiffany. Cause like they've been like the two biggest from NXT in the last year. It just makes the most sense, bro. Like I feel like it just makes the most sense. Either Lyra or Tiffany.
They're probably gonna have a few moments fucking trying to reach the pace and everything.
But I'm curious what you think about that shit.
Honestly, bro.
Even Io could go back to back with it, and I don't doubt Naomi either. Like this one's pretty wide open in my opinion.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like damage control is gonna be like some type of factor into this shit.
I could see it. I guess the only reason I feel like it's not as likely is because she won it last year.
I mean,
and then she won the championship. Didn't really do too much with it until she lost it to Bailey, and so like, I feel like overall, it's like we kind of did that. We tried it. It didn't really work. Why try it again?
But my number 2 is for sure Tiffany Stratton. She has fucking everything going for her right now.
She's probably been like the fastest rising star in the women's wrestling scene this year, 100%.
Even though like she has like that diva persona, but she can still fucking wrestle.
No, her in-ring work is really something. No, I've been very impressed with her so far, 100%.
Even though you're just talking about that, it's not just like she's low key could be a star, bro.
No, 100%, 100. My only thing was that like, literally, this is like a conspiracy theory take. My thing with maybe kind of leaning more towards Lyra Valkyria rather than Tiffany was deadass because of the Instagram video she posted earlier this year. Do you remember that shit? It was like a meme of so it was a video of her when she was slapping like I think it was Jade Cargill in a tag match, but it was like someone had made it with like some audio on TikTok or some shit, and as she was hitting her, the audio from another video said like, "You black bitch," like some shit. And Tiffany posted on her story, and yeah, she got a little bit of backlash for that shit. She took it down quickly, and like I don't think it got made into too big of a deal.
I think I heard about it, but that's crazy.
My thing is that like I feel like WWE is the type of company, even without Vince, I think still they're the type of company that when a young star shows immaturity, they're gonna tap the brakes on you a tad bit and just like, hey, you can't fuck up like that. And so because of that fuck up, we're gonna postpone your push a little bit just so you can really understand how serious this shit is. That would be my only theory. Is they're sitting her down and letting her know, hey, this Major League Baseball. You can't fuck around up here.
How special how she looks, man.
I'm saying she can't be. No, that's what I'm saying. Like she literally can't. Like she'll fuck around and cancel her whole career off of some stupid shit like that. And so no, like, and it's just it's insensitive. It's stupid. And so like, if that was the reason, I wouldn't be surprised. I guess is what I'm saying. And Lyra Valkyria has been really solid. If I'm not mistaken, she's the one who beat Becky Lynch when she was in NXT. So like, I'm saying like, bro, it's between them two, really, in my opinion.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't really rate Chelsea Green from that. I feel like she's gonna have her funny moments. She's gonna have her funny moments and shit. Yeah. She's probably almost gonna have that. She's gonna be holding it, but then she's probably gonna fucking get. Yeah. She low-key does some stunts sometimes though.
No, she's a pretty solid worker.
Bro,
yeah.
I've seen the fucking. She comes from Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Old promotion from like early 2000s and shit, 2010s and shit. And bro, she was doing crazy. She was wrestling dudes, bro.
Yeah.
I saw that they would wrestle fucking dudes, bro.
That's
like
crazy.
Some big ass.
I feel like I've seen shit about that too online.
That shit is crazy,
bro, she's underrated. I'm telling you, bro. It wouldn't be a bad decision. That's all I'm saying. If they put the briefcase in her hands, people might not love it at first, but people would be impressed overall. That's all I'm gonna say. But fuck it, we'll see, man. We'll see. That one's interesting because it's pretty open. But the men's match that'll be an interesting one. We got the Yeet Man, Jey Uso, fucking him, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, yeah, and fucking Drew McIntyre.
They try to make that shit as packed as possible this year.
And you know what's interesting is you're right. It is very stacked with like pretty high level talent relative to other years, but I still feel like the writing is on the wall.
Who do you think's taking it?
I think it is just it.
It's gonna be
It just
Drew.
is Drew McIntyre to
Okay, I
me.
already guessed the
I don't think there's anyone else, bro. Like maybe Jay, but I don't think Jay needs it. He's so over with the yeet shit, and like let's be real. Eventually, he's gonna win a singles title, but I don't think they have to rush it. Like he's so over. Like it blows my mind how much people like the yeet stuff, but like he's literally like Cody Rhodes is by himself as like the top baby face.
Yeah.
In that next tier below him, it's like Seth
You think
and Jay's
Jay's in
right.
there? That's
Fuck yeah,
crazy, man.
fuck yeah.
That's
At
crazy. I
this
feel it
stage,
though. His
and
movement,
like
yes.
he's just the people are behind him. The people are behind him, bro. Like he's such a vet at this point too. Like people respect the grind that he's gone through to
Yeah.
get to this point. I think, and like, I feel for Jimmy because he got to go face first. I feel like he got.
The
Oh, and
fucking
it could have
second,
so
yeah.
easily been Jimmy, but it just happened to
And
be.
people like Jimmy at first, though. People used to
Yeah,
like
no,
Jimmy
that's what I'm
first,
saying.
yeah.
Like it could have been either or. It's just it happened to be Jay who got that storyline. But that's I guess my point is that like there's no rush to put that belt on him. And again, it goes back to who needs it. I don't think Jay needs it at all. I don't think he needs it at all. I think as long as you find some way to like make him obviously you don't have him look like a bitch, like he gets taken out by a couple people or like maybe some interference or like a big he takes a couple finishers from people or some shit. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but I just don't think he needs it. I think with Melo, it's too early. I think with Andrade, it's just not.
Not gonna
Come on,
happen. Yeah,
bruh.
that's crazy.
And with Chad, I think the Wyatt Six is inevitably
They're just
gonna
gonna
come
take
in.
his ass. That
I
fool's gonna
think
disappear for like
I've
half of
seen
the
people
match or
say
some
it
shit.
online, and I heard them say, I was like, oh yeah, it's for sure gonna happen. Like he's gonna be climbing up on the ladder at some point, about to grab it, and then it's gonna go. The fucking lights turn
And the
off,
bitch is gonna
and the
come out
fucking shit.
crying.
Yeah, and they're
Bro.
gonna fuck with him and some shit. Yeah, exactly. That's definitely gonna happen. That's 100% gonna happen. And I think the same thing is probably gonna happen at LA Knight. He's gonna be
Yeah.
climbing up the ladder. He's about to get it, and oh my god, it's Logan
AJ's
Paul.
oh.
And he fucking comes out and
And that's
fucking,
gonna be his
and that's
story.
gonna set it up for him to go up for the U.S. Championship, which I think, like, I'm happy with that because
Yeah.
bro, I fucking need the LA Knight U.S.
He
Championship,
needs a
bro.
push, bro. He's been getting.
I
Kinda
think that, and so
stale.
that takes us back to the question you asked me earlier, which is
Bro, that
LA
feels gonna
Knight
be
over the
U.S.
past
champion.
year.
And you're fucking
Can I tell
promoting
you when it
Sledges,
changed?
bro.
Can I tell you when it changed?
Yeah.
When he
Bro.
lost to Roman. Because they pushed him too early. That's what I be talking about with some of this shit. It's like, bro, if you put someone into that match and then you realize, oh shit, we're not actually gonna let him go over here,
Yeah.
the momentum's cooked. That's why you can't have Braun Breaker lose. You can't have Braun Breaker lose. It's the same situation where it's like the hype is building, 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 and now we got the championship match. Bro, if he wins it, you shoot to the moon. And if you lose it, stagnate, bro. And ever since then, the feuds have just been mid, to be honest. Like, there hasn't been a lot of standout moments for him. Like, and look, I'm one of the biggest LA Knight fans out here. I fucking love this motherfucker, bro. He was fucking Eli Drake in TNA before WWE. That motherfucker was saying Eli doing my shit, bro. I'm Eli, like, bro. I fuck with that fool, bro. Let's be real, bro. I fuck with LA Knight. Fuck you, fucking, bro. It's just I feel like he hasn't gotten the storylines. He hasn't gotten the time to build these good storylines and shit. Like he had that shit with that feud with Roman, and then ever since then, it's like a few minutes on TV here, a few minutes on TV there. But like realistically, he needs an actual proper feud with a build to like really sink his teeth into. And we're starting to see that with Logan Paul. He's been doing shit like little segments here and there on the shows where they've been kind of beefing it with each other. And in my opinion, we're starting to see the resurgence of like the real heat. Because like the thing is he hasn't lost the love of the crowd, not even 1%. Like every time the music hits, they go fucking insane. And so I think like, bruh, 100%, he's gonna have to get that U.S. title. I just don't think this is the match for him. And who does that leave? Out of everyone I just talked about,
Drew.
that just leaves Drew. And I think it makes the most sense because this world heavyweight championship scene is getting a little crowded right now, and it keeps him in the picture without like fucking up the like. You can still have your Damian versus Gunther or Seth versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Like you can still build up these feuds
Yeah.
and then still have Drew involved, kind of lurking in the background. And how fucking fire would it be to have CM Punk constantly fucking with that fool on his cash-in attempts? Like there's so many great things that come from Drew winning the Money in the Bank.
But that could be a factor that could lead to the Money in the Bank that from like a fucking sabotage and shit.
Yeah, it yeah, 100%, 100%. I just feel like him getting the briefcase extends it versus him like CM Punk coming in and preventing him from getting the briefcase. I guess it just like you the more that you kick Drew down and down and down, at a certain point you're gonna like actually harm the character. Like you're gonna actually harm the feud. Like I think occasionally giving Drew a W and then having CM Punk kick him in the nuts a bunch more times makes more sense. Cause then it just keeps us on our toes a bit more too. That being said, that's very possible. That's very possible. I hadn't really considered that he might actually come and interfere in this, but it's very possible. It's very possible. Mm-hmm. Overall, I'm actually pretty fucking excited for it, though. I think it's gonna be one of the stronger PLEs we've had since Mania.
Definitely, bro.
Like that post Mania run is always a little rough,
man,
and
yeah,
the crowds have been fired. They've been carrying the events.
Crowds,
like they've been making the events
the
feel a lot more
crazy.
intense.
And especially after the European crowds, the US crowds been like turning it up a bit too.
Yeah, I think they understood that like, oh, we gotta actually match that energy, 100%. Nah, so I think that fucking it should be overall a pretty entertaining event. I think we should hopefully see some storylines building towards SummerSlam and stuff starting to like really take shape right now. You know what I mean? But it should be a banger PLE. It should be a banger.
Heels and a lot of interference is your final answer.
It sounds like the Vince McMahon era. Towards the end, a lot of heels and interference.
Brock Lesnar's about to come out, bro.
Fuck, bro. Shit, man. Let's hope not. Let's hope not yet. At least he's got a couple questions to answer first. But just to I guess wrap it up today. First of all, it's been a long ass episode. Damn, so if there's like literally one single human that is listening to this at this point still, crazy, man. You're a fucking legend, and that's crazy. Cause
that'd be crazy, bro.
We're here at 1 a.m. still shooting the shit. This is bananas. We might be a couple hours into this bitch.
I know, that's
damn
what I'm saying, bro.
That shit crazy.
Started at like what? 11 or some crazy.
Around there, yeah, around there. Fuck. Well, I mean, couple little quick hits of some just shit that's been going on in the world lately. It was literally earlier today. The fucking Not Like Us video came out, and shit, bro. What do you know, as a big Kendrick fan, I know that you were probably pretty excited.
Very interesting, man. He definitely answered a lot of the Drake fans' perspective on the beef.
You think so?
He definitely has a lot of Drake fans like basically just stuttering and like fucking up on literally.
In what way?
They're still trying to say, "Oh, fucking, he didn't do this." They're like basically coping in a fucking way. They're coping at this point, bro. Because it was, bro. How do you accuse someone of beating their wife when they're up here dancing on a dance song, bro? On a music video for a dance.
That don't mean it didn't happen.
What do you mean it don't mean it didn't happen?
How do you know? How do you know?
That would not be happening if it did happen, bro.
Dog,
I can't wait for the book to come out, bro.
I remember seeing Chris Brown and Rihanna at the Laker game together.
Oh, stop it, bro.
So
stop it.
So now it's impossible for
this was no Chris Breezy, bro.
A woman to stay with a man that potentially might have done some shit at one point. Now that's impossible. Okay. I'm just saying, look. If that's how you want to interpret
it was definitely a meaningful thing, bro. Especially with the little kid, bro, being there. The supposedly Dave Free's son or whatever, dog.
If that's how you want to interpret it, then you can. It's my thing. I guess the thing that pissed me off about the beef overall is no one ever proved shit. Neither side. No one ever took the time to prove any of the allegations. All of a sudden, one side's beating his wife and the other side's a pedophile, and it's really just down to
But
who you
I'm
choose to
sorry, but
believe.
Drake gave multiple shout outs on his diss song, and a lot of those people,
That was a
a lot
L.
of those
No, no,
people
no. All right, all right, all right. Well,
popped out
look,
at Kendrick
look, look,
show,
look,
bro,
look.
and
No, no,
that's
no, no. Hold
crazy,
on, hold on, hold
bro.
on. Stop, stop, stop. Because now you take it to another place.
Because, bro, that's people that you consider close. Why
Shut
would
the
you?
fuck. You take it to another
Nah,
place.
man.
Cause look, who won the beef is a separate conversation because facts don't matter when we're just talking about who won the beef. Kendrick won the beef. That's without a doubt. That's without a doubt. And doing shit like that, bringing out YG and shit like that at the pop out and everything. Yes, I get it. That definitely, bro. He's just dancing on this fool's grave at this point. Like, bro, it's over. It's
Bro.
over. I guess my thing is that, like, cause I came into it literally, like, from a just a neutral perspective, bro. Like, I am such a massive diehard fan of both. Like, literally, both artists are on my Mount Rushmore of like, cause it's the generation we grew up in. Like, Good Kid, Mad City was like one of the most important albums
Yeah.
to me growing up as a kid. But then at the same time, like, Drake probably hasn't ever had one project on that level, but he's had so many classic songs that when you hear it, you instantly are like, in a place in an era of your life. And like, I love and appreciate both artists.
I feel it.
And so I came into it from a place of like really just being excited that they weren't like that they actually got in the ring because
Yeah.
they've been dancing tiptoeing around each other for the fucking
Or was
longest.
just like the pushing fucking beef. It was just fucking sneak this, street this, and then no this.
Exactly. And so now once they actually started going up against each other, I was really excited. And like, I feel like Drake did a lot of a better job against Meek in the sense that like everything he said, like he wasn't throwing out allegations that had to be proven true or false. Like he was talking a lot of shit about like Nicki being the more popular
Yeah.
artist between them in the couple and shit like that, and like different type of shit where like we know that's true. And so you making those bars is impactful because we agree. But now you bringing all these fucking allegations to the table saying Kendrick do this to his girl, Dave Free did that to his girl, all this other shit. And it's like, that's a pretty heavy allegation. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know none of these motherfuckers. And then on the other side is all this shit about everyone in the OVO camp is suspicious and Drake is cool with all these pedos and shit. And it's like, I don't know. I've never even been to Canada. How the fuck am I supposed to know? And so I was kind of waiting for someone on either side. And there was that weird Twitter account for a minute that was like
Yeah,
dropping shit on
Ebony
them.
Prince or whatever.
But then like that motherfucker's just disappeared. And so like, who got the proof? Who got the evidence? Like, if anyone could show me Baca with a teenager, I'll shut the fuck up. If anyone could show me
That's
Whitney
crazy.
with a black eye, I'll shut the fuck up.
That's crazy.
But if no one could show me any of that shit, then like they just good songs. And like
So-
I didn't lose or gain respect for either artist.
That's crazy, but
I just come out of it looking at it as like Kendrick won the beef. But like not to me. I can say that as like Kendrick won the beef to the people.
oh,
Obviously, he washed this motherfucker, bro. He curb stomped this motherfucker.
so what do you mean to the people? What do you mean by that?
Like, just scroll through any comment section on it, bro. Go outside and ask people. Look at the Not Like Us video. Like, obviously, the
Yeah, I
social
understand that, yeah.
sentiment is that like Drake got washed, and so if that's what people say, then that means you lost because the only thing that matters is public perception. It's the only thing that matters. Like, Jay had some decent diss songs against Nas, but only shit that gets talked about is Ether. So Nas won the beef. You see what I'm saying? Fucking Biggie and Tupac was doing they disses back and forth and shit, but what do people remember? Hit 'em up. So Tupac won the beef. That's all that matters is the social sentiment. It's what the majority of people think. It's like
Okay.
trying to run for president. If you can get the majority of the people to say you won, then you won. That is the criteria. And so Kendrick won the beef. No, that's not a wild take.
No, but so what do you mean? So like, what is your take? So like, okay, the people say so. Yeah, I say he won the beef. But what is like? What are you trying to say by that? So you personally would say he won the beef.
Well, it's because, like I said, no one proved nothing. And so, like, to me, it's just kind of empty claims. Like, I guess if we're just looking at it from like a song perspective, like from just a diss track perspective, if I'm just assuming that it's just all for bars and shit,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'd still probably I'd agree with the people and say Kendrick got him, because the thing is like the first songs were definitely a little more on his kind of like weird vibe he'd be on sometimes
Mm-hmm.
from an audio perspective, where like it was slower paced, the instrumentation was a bit more different to what most people are used to listening to, including myself. And so like a Meet the Grams type of record, I listened to that like multiple times in the day it dropped and the days after, but I haven't listened to that song in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks,
Okay.
because like it's not a replayable
Yeah.
record, you know what I mean? But not like us, hell yeah, because that shit actually slaps. And so like that was when Not Like Us came out, that's when it was over in my opinion, because then he actually had the replayable record, and that's what he needed, because that's what, bro, Drake be killing motherfuckers with that
Yeah.
shit, bro. Back to back, I still play that sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Like, Drake will drop a fucking catchy ass diss on your ass and kill your shit. And so once Kendrick outdid the catchiness,
Yeah.
over, from a rap perspective, in my opinion, because
So
that,
like overall, what did you think of the video then? Like, what did you think of the
from the
intro?
video, I mean,
The intro. What did you think of the intro?
the intro part was cool. I only watched it once, so I didn't like catch all the fucking shit in it. I'm sure there's probably, knowing Kendrick, hella deep ass metaphors and shit like that I gotta study.
Basically, yeah.
But fucking, I mean, it just felt like flexing. That's what I thought, was like he's just doing what he's doing, whatever he wants at this point. Like he
That's one thing that they
running up the
say he
score.
can't make hits. So that sounded like if he would drop a song like that, that would be a hit.
I mean, nah, man. I think they both got a strong catalog of hits.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying Kendrick can't make a hit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that in general his music tends to be a little more.
But that was a big thing that like they're dissing him on. Even J. Cole with that fucking pussy ass motherfucker doing it.
Bruh.
This, but he said
What did he say on that shit? I don't even remember if I listened to the J. Cole
he
shit.
basically said the same shit that Drake said. Like his fucking last shit was fucking tragic. His fucking first one was a
I
classic
think I
type of
remember
shit.
that
Yeah.
shit now. Yeah, I think I remember that shit now. I mean, well, that's what I'm saying though. Is like Kendrick shit is just weird from that like instrumentation and shit like that. Like it's just a different type of sound a lot of times. But I'm not trying to say he can't make a hit. Like no one is saying that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's saying that shit seriously is tripping. Like the only reason J. Cole say some shit like that is because literally the more recent shit he has put out, there is no hits on it. Like the Mr. Morale and shit, there was no big songs on that record. There wasn't. There wasn't. It was a flop overall. Let's just call it like it is. It was a flop from that perspective of saying there was like no big songs on
Crazy
that
man.
album at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, you could say that if you want to. But like no one is trying to say that this fool can't make big records. He literally popped out with fucking pull up, drink, drink. Like he could make those type of songs whenever the fuck he feels like it. He's a weird motherfucker. He don't be feeling like it. Nah, like weird is probably the wrong word, but like he just don't give a fuck about the trending.
That would be listening to 70s jazz music doing
He's
push-ups, bro.
he's he's
Prison
an
style, bro.
interesting dude, man. He's a
Okay.
different dude, but nah, man, he got hits, bro. He got hella fucking hits for sure. But nah, man, I don't know. As the as the bigger, probably, I know you are a bit more biased towards Kendrick. You could wrap it up if you got any final thoughts on it.
Oh shit, man, I don't know. I just felt like it was a pretty good video. I like how one thing in the beginning I've been seeing a lot. It was like you said, you missed the intro because like you only watched it once and shit. But a lot of things, a big thing that people were talking about, like hating on Kendrick for, is like, oh, what about the Hispanic community? He wasn't really showing it out like that, even though he's like trying to say, oh, he's uniting LA type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, like the sample that he uses supposedly like it's like 80s like fucking electronic like dance music. You know the music that cholos dance to and shit like that.
Okay.
And it's like supposedly is like a fucking like a nod to that shit. And he also was like wearing fucking like a Mexican brand. It was like called like what was it called, like fucking Ghetto Rodeo or some shit like that. And he was wearing that shit throughout the whole video. And I was like, oh hey, like so that was like a dope ass thing, I would say.
So he fucks with y'all?
He fucks with y'all. I guess that would be. That's. I mean, that's like just a little dope nod. I know a lot of people were saying talking shit about him like that, but no, bro.
That is good to see. That is good to see.
And then also overall the video, bro, that shit was just crazy as fuck.
You
And he
think that?
said, motherfucker got curbed on, bro, by the lyrics of the general public. Even though we see what happened in Canada, bro. We saw what happened.
I
Rick
mean,
Ross.
bro, you can't. That's what I'm saying. Up there is different. You can't mess with. You
Oh,
can't mess
shit,
with
man.
Drake in Canada.
But yeah,
Mm-mm.
man.
That's funny as hell. Well, we'll keep it on the West Coast right now, cause LeBron James's son is a Laker. Bronny James is a Laker.
By the
And
way,
what's
in no regards, I'm not the biggest basketball fan, bro. I'm learning, dog. I'm like, but I feel like I can say a decent take,
I
basically.
guess I'm curious to hear what you have to say because this was your suggestion to put on the topic list, and I'm curious
I
what
guess
your
it's just
thoughts
like
are.
because it's like a big thing in the news right now, like the nepo baby type of shit with fucking. I guess, bro. So fuck it, bro. But it's
so what? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know, bro. But like I don't know. I feel like it wasn't deserved personally. That's like my straight shot, my shoot on it. It was not deserved. He should not be there. College should still be college
That's
basketball
tough.
right now, bro.
That's tough.
But hey, man, I understand why the Lakers did it. I understand what was the situation with LeBron.
Mhm.
I know he had a year left or whatever. That
That's
was threatening
tough.
to leave or whatever.
Yeah.
So, bro, like I understand why. But like I don't know.
Damn.
As a Laker fan, how do you feel about that? Well, like, should we still hold on to LeBron type of shit? I don't know. I feel like even though I would say as a casual, but I'm like probably more towards the Lakers side. But like, I feel like they should not do it for LeBron. For
I
him, they're
mean,
fucking just because they're basically just trying to jeopardize the team just for him to be happy. Even though I heard that he's gonna play on the fucking G League or whatever.
I feel like first. So shit. There's a lot to unpack there. I do think from what I've seen, he's at least got the raw potential to make it in the NBA. I don't think it's just crazy that he got drafted. Like it's not 100% nepotism. Like it's not just because he's LeBron's kid. I feel like it's easy to look at the stats that he put up in college and say like, oh yeah, this feels fucking ass. But realistically, college isn't a super high scoring game. Like even good scorers in college sometimes only put up like 17, 18 points a game. And in the NBA, if you're a good scorer, you're putting up like 22, 23, 24. So like because it's a lower scoring game, I think he ended up averaging like 6 points a game or some shit like that. Which like when you look at it, sounds ass because it's like a few shots a game. But like in college, that's a bit more than like proportionally and shit like that. And like from what I look, I didn't watch a lot of USC basketball. I'm gonna be honest, but like from
Mm-hmm.
what I understand, from what I've heard, he's a pretty solid defender. He could shoot the ball, which is like two of the main skills
How tall
that
is bro?
I feel like 6'3",
That's not too tall, man. Isn't his dad like 6'8" or some shit like
six
that?
nine, 6'2".
That was pretty
I
short,
mean,
low
for a
key.
point guard, yeah, it is pretty short. It is pretty short. He's right around like Steph, Kyrie kind of size, a little shorter.
That's
But
crazy, man.
I mean, but that's the thing though, is like with those smaller players, if you can get someone who can play some solid defense on like those really good point guards that a lot of these teams have, like if you can have someone you can stick on Kyrie for a few minutes in a game and like get reliable defense and get some good shooting out of, like that's really all you could hope for. And then
Yeah.
I've heard he's a pretty solid passer as well, which like you're gonna need that at that higher level because the game moves super quick. But like I guess it's just tough because like he's getting so much attention. Like there's no way in any like realistic world we should be talking about like the 58th pick on a fucking podcast. I think I was trying to say he was like not that bad, basically.
Oh yeah, because you're talking about how it looks bad on him. Like,
You know, it's this late into the show. If anyone's still listening, we could just say we
yeah,
just drank a
fucking
little
night.
bit of vodka and everything, and
Have you see the heads backwards around? That's
because the
again.
thing is, the fucking camera died, and then we had to go put in a new battery on the
Shit
camera.
happens, folks. Shit
And
happens.
it's like literally, it's such bullshit
Shit
because like
happens.
right where the battery is, boom, there's a drink, and it's like, alright, sip it. So I was saying something about Bronny. He's he's not. we're spending too much time focusing on a kid who's really just supposed to be a decent player at best.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he comes in, scores like 8 a game, gets a few assists, play some solid defense. That's a good pick. Like I think what a lot of people who don't follow basketball don't understand is in that second round where he got drafted. So like there's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft.
Yeah.
Your second round pick, half the time they don't even end up on the team, bro. Like that's a really like
Yeah.
at that point in the draft, you're kind of just taking a chance on someone most of the time, and so like I don't think it's that big of a deal, bro. Like it's a late pick. We take a chance on him. If he ends up being a solid rotational point guard, great. And if not, it is what it is, bro. Like at the end of the day, what I think people haven't said enough, and because I've seen a lot of people having your opinion. I'm not trying to say you're wrong for thinking this, because I know people are fed up with the Nepo baby shit. But at the same time, the amount of work and like passion that LeBron James has given the sport of basketball,
Yeah.
sport of basketball owes one. And so if bro wants to hoop with his kid, I think he's fucking earned the right.
Especially how
Being
old this
literally the
motherfucker is,
greatest
bro.
player in the
Jesus,
history of the
man.
fucking sport, in my opinion, damn near.
Bro
The
is
only
straight
person I put
unk.
above him is Kobe, and that's just my personal shit. But like, Braun is Braun, bro. Like that's one of the
How old is that
crazy,
fool? Like 42?
like fucking like 39, I think 38,
Fuck.
39. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
But nah, like it's bro, it's ridiculous at his age to be doing the type of shit. He's been in the league for 20 years, over 20 years. So like, bro,
performing at a high level.
that's what
bro.
I'm saying. Like he came in straight out of high school. He didn't go to college. Even bro, when he was in high school, there was ESPN coming to his games to put that shit on national TV and shit. Like he's given his entire life to the sport of basketball. And so if he wants to ride out into the sunset enjoying it with his son, I feel like why not? He deserves it. And if the kid's good enough, he'll make it. And if he's not, he won't. Like the
So-
NBA is just that's it. It's
So do you think he possibly has a chance, either this season or next season, if LeBron does stay,
What do you mean?
for them to actually play together? Because of how I said that fool might be in the G League or
Nah,
whatever.
he'll get some minutes here and there, I'm sure. If
You think?
anything, just for the moment. Like, yeah, 100%. 100%. He'll play. He'll play. Because the way the G League works is like, it's not like when we're coming from the like soccer system where like you go on loan and you have to stay
You can
there.
just like bring players up anytime.
They can go back and
shit,
forth
yeah.
whenever the fuck they
That's
want.
crazy.
Yeah. So he'll come up, I'm sure, at some point. Yeah. Nah, 100%. And nah, honestly, bro, I saw a tweet that I fucking hella like, yeah, that 100%. Where some fool was saying like all these people talking all this shit on Bronny, but like he had to wake up early for all those practices and like miss out on all these fucking parties and all this other shit to put in work and shit like that. Like he had to put in the work just like anyone else would have to put in the work. Like so we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens with him. I think that overall he's a a decent prospect. We'll see. We'll see. But our final little news topic of the day is an interesting one. It's an interesting one.
It is, man.
The NCAA has announced that for their Division I athletes, they will no longer be testing for cannabis. And
I feel like that's a W, bro.
it's a massive W. It's
That's
a massive
big
W.
dog.
I think that we can both say that as occasional cannabis users ourselves, both being above the age of 18, living in the state of California, it's a pretty beautiful thing. And I think it's just as harmful, if not maybe even less than alcohol. You know what I mean? I think weed is a social thing that you can enjoy here and there, and especially for athletes who are putting their bodies through such physical trauma, I'm sure that having a little doobie at the end of the night after getting fucking slammed into the ground by 300-pound freaks of fucking nature is pretty nice.
It's honestly better than taking prescription pills, man.
And I mean, exactly. Like that's what my thing is like. So like, all right, let's just for context here. You're not as much into the like American sports as I am. So when it comes to this type of shit, I'm kind of providing more of the context for my mans who's like getting more into like your basketball, football, that type of stuff. I grew up watching football, American football. That was the first sport that I ever really started watching heavily, that along with basketball. And then I got into soccer like a few years later in life. So for me, college sports, I'm pretty familiar with the culture around it as a fan, and I understand that like these kids are getting pumped full of painkillers and all sorts of shit in like their teenage years, early 20s. They're pumping them full of these fucking shits to like keep them going because these kids are so valuable to these programs. And so giving them like more in my opinion, a healthier way, and I think most doctors' opinion, like a more like less side effect heavy way for
Yeah.
them to be able to kind of manage that pain and stress and everything is a W. And like if we being real, like I tried to tell you to watch this shit earlier this year. There's a Johnny Manziel documentary on Netflix where he kind of opens up about his whole college experience. And bro, his ass was teeing the fuck off, doing way more than weed, and like getting away with all of it because bro, they gonna finesse the drug test anyway. And so like if you're a good enough player, they was already smoking weed if they wanted to.
That's crazy.
And so, in my opinion, it just makes it a more fair system where it opens it up for everyone to do what the star players were already doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this shit was already happening. It just makes it so that now some poor kid who's like the third string offensive lineman doesn't get busted for wanting to get high with his homies. Like,
That was just literally
these kids should be able to enjoy college.
Yeah.
It's literally what all the like adults say is like there's a time and place for things. It's called college. Like I can't tell you how many times I heard that shit growing up. Like you're not supposed to have sex. You're not supposed to do drugs.
That's crazy.
No, for real though. Like that's what adults be saying. Like you're not supposed to have sex. You're not supposed to drink. You're not supposed to do drugs. All this other shit.
Yeah.
Wait until you're in college.
Yeah.
That's a common fucking thing people say. But then if you an athlete, it's like sorry, you can't do none of this shit. It's like well, bro, fuck that shit. And they already not testing for alcohol because it's legal if you're 21. So they getting hammered, you know what I mean?
Crazy,
but they can't get faded.
Yeah.
That's weird to me. That's weird to me. So it's just an overall W. And like what I think could be potentially hilarious is that the NIL system exists, which is like the name and likeness, name, image, and likeness deal, which is like the way that the college players are able to make money now.
Yeah.
They basically have rights to their own name and like they can do sponsor deals basically. They can do ad deals.
You're probably talking about some weed sponsorship.
I'm wondering if we finna see some kid having a strain or something. But the thing is like these kids are still trying to get drafted, a lot of them and shit. So I feel like that'd be bad for their perception. But I'm just curious to see how it's gonna impact the game. Like if people are gonna be more open about it and shit. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, bro. Like if some kid's gonna like come to this dispensary today and shit. I don't know. It'll be fun. It'll be funny. But I think overall, W. I don't know if you have any kind of final thoughts on that shit.
Nah, bro. My biggest take was like, bro, they just like are not gonna take any fucking strong medications, any fucking those. They're one more addicting, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I know people say you can't get addicted to weed or whatever, but you see it. Yeah, everybody has their different fucking opinions, bro. It don't matter. But I feel overall, smoking weed is healthier than taking just prescription pills, taking all those strong things that they honestly you probably seen more because you're more up to date, but you seen probably a lot of careers been lost to that. Just like all that drug taking, it probably fucks with the players' minds and shit like that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
bro. These kids are gonna be chiefing.
Yeah, no,
these kids are gonna be chiefing. That's gonna be funny as fuck.
I can't imagine I can't imagine the pain they go through every day, bro. They probably just want to chill out and kick back.
And it's funny because I'm primarily like when I hear college sports, my brain instantly goes to football because it's the most predominant college sport. Bro, imagine like the golf players.
The basketball players?
No, I'm talking about like the sports no one gives a fuck about for real. No disrespect, but like,
you're crazy.
Like, bro, I'm talking about the golf players and shit. Like, they're gonna be dialed in, bro. Straight wavy on the course.
Fucking whole 7, fucking.
I might start playing sports,
bro.
I might start playing sports.
That shit, bro.
That's crazy. That sounds like a vibe.
They're gonna let you
being on the swim team, you're just in the pool with it. Like,
that's wild,
man. College sports, I think, is gonna go into just a more better era. That's crazy, man. Well, shit. I mean, I think we might have reached the finish line here, bro. It's been a fucking journey to get here, bro.
Bro, journey, bro. This motherfucker got me last minute, bro. He said.
So, just for a little, if you want to get a little behind the scenes look at shit, we were talking about. Well, I've been trying to convince this guy to kind of get on camera and start something with me, cause, man, we've been talking about all this shit our entire lives basically anyways, and so we might as well put it out for the people. Yeah. And fucking he finally came to me and said that he was kind of down and was a little bit more open to it, and that was yesterday. And I told this fool, hey, bro,
that was yesterday.
Fucking pull up then. If you finally down, then pull up. And this fool pulled up. So shit.
Hey, man.
You know?
It was interesting, man. It's definitely an interesting experience, man.
Well, fuck, man. I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
No, I definitely enjoyed it, bro. That
Did,
shit was fun. That shit's I don't know, bro. It's definitely just like I said. It's just like kicking it, chilling here. Definitely gotta get used to. If this actually gets uploaded to fucking these motherfuckers being here and shit.
I know those fools being just sitting there is kind of weird.
Yeah, for real,
And
bro.
they just stop staring at me.
I don't know, man, but no,
Did you
bro.
have fun though?
That shit, bro.
Did
Shut your
let
fucking
them
door
let them
Explorer
talk?
ass
Let
up,
them talk.
bro. No,
Did you
shut
have
the
fun?
fuck up, bro. Oh my god.
I think they did. I think they did. I heard. I heard them.
Oh, that's fucked, dog. Hold on, bro. I feel like it was a decent take.
Not bad, bro. Be back next week.